And welcome everyone to the Circle Debate Podcast, episode 106. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the host of Divas One Obviously, and I'm here with my other host, Mi Familia, the greatest faction of all time. These are my brothers from another mother, ladies and gentlemen. I'll go ahead and introduce, of course, because this man takes you all the way back in time, ladies and gentlemen, back in time to see some good shit. Some good shit from like the WCW days, the Attitude Era, ECW especially, and TNA as well. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome my brother, Mike De Niro from the Wrestling Delorean Podcast. That's right.
What's good, everybody? Thank you so much for having me here back on. It's always an honor, man.
That's right. And of course, my other brother from another mother. This man has an IQ that, like I said, not Rogan, not even Vince McMahon, especially, or TK. All right, TK, as much as you get upset, but it's the damn truth. Because this man provides you the greatest MMA of all time information and pro wrestling. My brother Dan from Cage My IQ podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
It is so big, I don't even have to pay $3 million to keep people quiet.
Damn. That's right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before this, we get into it, I want to talk about, a lot of shit's going on, man. It's a horror, like it's a summer. We said summer of injuries before. Now we have more of a summer of investigation.
Scandals.
It's just summer of scandals. Let's start with the first one. I want to speak. I want to hear your guys' thoughts, but because I never got your guys' thought about it, and that's Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's DUI, of course, of what occurred, and this is the unfortunate because that happening that Monday in the afternoon, drinking 2 or 3 shots, a fireball, getting pulled over like around 12:45 in the afternoon, and of course, you can't even speak your mind correctly. You're like, I can't hear you. You're speaking low, and going to jail. And then Tony Khan suspending him indefinitely without pay. He did say he will take the treatment, and this is the last opportunity for Jeff Hardy. And that's why this situation that occurred, unfortunately, got the Hardys out of that triple threat match from that ladder match. They were supposed to win the tag team titles, that's for sure, because TK was frustrated the fact that occurred, and it changes everything around all the plans. So I'll go to you, Dan, first. Let me ask you: with Jeff Hardy's situation, should this be his last opportunity? And will he actually, take it? And would he put it in jeopardy? Will he put his career in jeopardy if he doesn't go through these treatment programs? What are your thoughts about Jeff Hardy, first of all, the situation?
There's so many layers to this discussion just in itself, because you had him, of course, get the DUI. You had everything surrounded it with Reba Sky and everything she was posting because she was just kind of keeping things status quo for Matt Hardy. They were getting called enablers for allowing him to do this, when in reality it came out that they did an event in Florida, the 3 of them, where it was Matt and Jeff doing a sign-in and a meet and greet. And there was a bar there, and she made sure to pay everybody off to make sure that they didn't give him any drinks there at all. She didn't want him to drink. And then afterwards, her and Matt walked Jeff Hardy back to his hotel room before they left. And then they went back to North Carolina. And this was the day before. So they got a lot of backlash for it, when in reality, there wasn't anything they can do about it, because they can't babysit him 24/7. So I feel for him there. I feel for Matt, because Matt went through this years ago. He got clean. Now he's good, and it's affecting him because now he has to find something new to do in the meantime. He went from a singles guy to the Matt Hardy brand to now the Hardys about to win the tag titles, and that just got taken away because of Jeff Hardy. And a lot of people think that maybe it has something to do with all the injuries, because he was apparently going to get his brain scanned at the time that he was drunk. Which is very odd for him to do. Why would you go to it drunk? But now go to what you were saying. I think this is his last opportunity I think it was the right thing for Tony Khan to do. He was initially waiting for all the facts to come in before he made any public address about the situation. But like, there's no other way you can deal with this other than tell him that he needs to go, and if he doesn't go, then just cut bait with him. Maybe it's time for him to retire if he can't do what he wants to do without drinking. And he should probably cut out drinking for good, and all that stuff. And it's like, what is he gonna do with his career? I think he's been most affected by all those high flying moves that he gets hurt, and then maybe this is his way of coping with the injuries. And it sucks that this is one of the guys that I love to watch early in his career, because he did stuff that a lot of people didn't do, and then a lot of people like him as a person. A lot of people say he's the nicest guy. He just makes the wrong decisions.
Yeah.
So I hope he takes the rehab and takes it seriously, and then he comes back. Because if he doesn't, then more than likely he's done.
Absolutely. And just very quick, brief shout out to Selecta Brew from Jump on the Ring Podcast. Shout out to Ted Chan, of course, from Rewind Wrestling Radio Network for tuning in. Thank you so much, brothers. But yes, De Niro, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree with Dan. It's sad. This has been a running thing with Jeff Hardy since as long as I can remember. You know, he starts doing good in a company and then he's let go or suspended because of some personal choices. And yeah, I mean, I met Jeff Hardy personally. Like he is a great guy. He's down to earth. He's sweet. Like, you know, I had a conversation with Jeff Hardy and it's like 5 minutes in, it sounds like you would think I knew the guy forever. Like he's that like personable with people. And it's always sad because like he's alcoholic, you know, it is an issue. He has to get help. He has to help himself. He has a daughter, you know, you gotta know when to like help yourself. But that's the thing. People are saying, oh, he needs help. It's when you want to help yourself. That's when you go get help. That's when treatments gets like taken serious. When you check yourself into rehab is a lot different when a family member or someone else checks you into rehab, because if you're not willing to get the help at the time, then, you know, it's only going to go in one ear and out the other. So him wanting to get help this time, TK offering to get him help. That's great. I know that a lot of the rumors when he was released by the WWE this latest time was they offered him to go get help and he declined treatment. Yeah. So, and yeah, I totally agree with Dan also, where it's like, you know, his whole career, he's doing all these crazy high spots. I'm sure his body's in constant pain. Like there's no way he's escaping all that pain-free. And he's the guy who, like, I remember him saying once, like, he never really had any major injuries or surgeries or anything, but I'm sure, like, it all catches up, the aches and pains. And we've seen him before, like, all this. He was moving a little slower. It was a little weird at Double or Nothing. Like, he seemed like he was a little lost in the ring. And it was, so I hate to be, like, that guy, but, you know, you never want to say, oh, I saw this coming when you're talking about something like this, but it's hard to say that you didn't see it coming when you already saw the signs of him getting beat up and being slower, and it's kind of sad. And as for like people going at Matt Hardy and was it Reba Sky or she I saw that she was saying the same things, like they're not enablers. Like they, at the end of the day, Jeff Hardy's a grown man. Like you can't babysit him. You can only do but so much. So they took care of him as much as possible at that convention the day before, but like at what point do you say, all right, we got our own shit to deal with, we got our own things to do, and like, you know, let him be his own man. So it's a real shame. I am happy that he's going to get help. I do hope we see him back, but if we never see Jeff Hardy wrestle again, but he's clean and happy and healthy, that's all that matters to me.
Absolutely. He needs to. This is like, you know, this is his last opportunity to be in, you know, in the world of sport of professional wrestling, because this is your last chance. Yeah. And luckily that, you know, AEW, I don't know if they have, you know, drug test policies like how WWE has how they have theirs. We don't know that if they do. Maybe they do. Who quite, you know, nobody knows. But
it took a long time for WWE just to get it.
Yeah. It took a very long time.
And the only reason why we know about WWE is because they're public.
Yes, absolutely. And one thing we don't want to see, of course, is this shit right here, man. We don't want to see this. All right, this is what I don't want to see here. You know, I saw that. I'm like, Jesus, whoever made this meme horrible, but a little sense of humor. Sorry, I had to throw a little sense of humor to it because it's like this should be a wake up call for Jeff, especially because this is your last chance. Tony TK paying you this much to come to AEW to team. That's his dream to have the Hardys there, and this could have been a chance of winning the tag team titles, but he just threw it down the drain, unfortunately. And I hope he gets the right help, and I'm hoping he comes back clean, sober, and takes some time off in the ring, and get yourself back in shape, healthy wise, and you rejuvenate yourself. Hopefully, So I wish you the best.
This is why they talk about wrestlers how big time moves that at some point you gotta change things up so you don't beat your body up, because you get to a point where a guy like this, you're using drugs or alcohol to deal with the pain. I look at a guy like Will Ospreay, who was a skinny guy, and this is all he did was all these big time moves. Now you see him bulk up, and he's kind of caught an audible on his moveset where he's adding more like stand-up moves to his arsenal, so he's not doing all these high-flying moves anymore, and he's still the same guy. It's just that he's putting less wear and tear on his body now.
Right, indeed.
Yeah, and when the Hardy Boys came in, like when they first started, like when they came into wrestling, like they were like the Young Bucks. They were clean Christian boys, never drank a day in their life, never did any drugs. So like you could see like what the wrestling culture and like what the impact on your body could do to a person.
Absolutely does. Especially speaking about that, I mean, you have another one who might be out, Randy Orton, and that's gonna hurt him. What's going on, Clark Street? That's right. Make sure you subscribe to Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. We're back tomorrow. I can't wait to see that show. I cannot wait to see that episode. That's right. Mm-hmm. Oh man, but yes, another one. It's Randy Orton. Back pain. Might need surgery, might be out for the rest of the remaining of the year. That's another big hit for WWE. Ever since the whole unification of the title belt, a lot of people are saying, been reading around all over, with Fightful and everybody else mentioning the creative now regret of actually making that decision because you need you need one of those titles to be relevant while Roman is taking his time off, which he deserves. I'm not discrediting it at all, but it's just that you do need a champion now to be the face of the company. And then Randy was going to be the other one, and now he's out. So it affects them a lot, but not really, because now this is a time how we talked about it before about AEW should pull a trigger when Punk's out, develop your original AEW roster. Mm-hmm. Now it's time for WWE to do the same thing. Pull the trigger on certain talents in the meantime. I mean, that's how I feel. Like I said last time, Kevin Owens. He's your charisma guy. He has that. Get him, finish with the storyline with Ezekiel, and then move forward. Have him be a main event level. He could be one of them that could do it, or put Bobby Lashley back into the picture. There's the possibilities are endless that they could use with Cody out, and then now with Roman taking time off, and then Randy might be off. So yeah, it really really affects them. So.
There's been a lot of rumors out there. One being that it could be Lashley, Roman at SummerSlam. Then there's a rumor that they might just strip Roman of the title because he's been out for a while and they don't know when he's going to be back because he's not doing live events anymore. He's not doing a lot of the shows now. He's just a handful of shows now, kind of like Brock. What Brock did, he's doing essentially the Brock schedule now. So there's been talks they might strip him of the title. You could see Rollins win the Money in the Bank, and then the way of stripping him is have Rollins cash in and win the titles and hold them, and then hold them until Mania, and then have Cody beat him for the titles. Yeah. When he comes back, there's been a lot of that, and it's just like if you're gonna split them up, do it soon. But if you're gonna keep them together, it's been talked about, just have one belt. Utilize just the one belt and then put it on somebody else sooner than later, because now we got all these guys getting hurt. It sucks that Randy Orton's out. I can attest to back injury because I'm going through a back injury myself. which keeps me out of my my full-time job right now, and it's a pain in the ass. You got to do a lot with your back to recharge it, to work it out. And I think it's just them being safe. I think it's Randy, I should say, is being safe because he's at that age now where you can't just be 20, you get hurt, and then you can just jump up a couple weeks later and then be fine. You got to take your back serious.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably just him being like, you know what? Let me stay out until the end of the year. I'll come back around the Royal Rumble, appear in that, and then do the road to WrestleMania, and then see how I feel then.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Nick, of course, from Universal Wrestling Podcast. Watch out. AEW got a new trios team. That's right.
First trio champions right here.
That's right. What are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, it's a shame that another big star is going to be sidelined for the WWE. Right now, it's like they're cursed. But I feel like I'm in the minority here when I say that I think that Roman Reigns as the champion and staying champion and keeping the same schedule he has right now is fine. Here's the thing. The WWE Intercontinental Champion been around since the fucking 80s, right? The U.S. champion, the lineage of the U.S. champion been around since the 80s. Why is it in 2022 these titles don't mean more than what they mean? If you have your world champion with a part-time schedule, the Intercontinental Champion should be the main event of your show. That title should be elevated. The U.S. champion on Raw should be the main event of your show because these are titles with history and lineage, just like the WWE World Champion, right? Also, Roman Reigns right now, he's still in the midst of a legendary reign, right? To take the title off of him would be, I think that's just bad decision making. I think that it would be punishing Roman Reigns for you not elevating other talent and you not having the next guy up, not being ready, going to panic mode. And like I said, I think it was like last week, the WWE does a lot of panic mode shit. And then the repercussions are like, what the fuck just happened? For example, look at Edge, right? Edge being kicked out of Judgment Day. That was panic mode. And it was like, all right, where do we go from here now? So, yeah, it's a shame that Randy's, hurt. It's a shame that a lot of stars are hurt. There's a lack of star power right now with the WWE roster. But, I mean, shit, it's their fault. It's their fault. They don't make new stars. They not only do they not make new stars, but yeah, you have titles with lineage. You have titles with history. The Intercontinental Champion used to be the workhorse champion, right? And not saying it's not anymore. I mean, having someone like Gunther as the champion, that's great. But this should be top television. I mean, shit, we didn't see the AEW title defended for almost a month, but guess what? The TNT champion was weekly in the main event. So I feel like you need to elevate these titles so they're not just mid-card titles. So when your WWE champion is not being defended, you could put this in the main event and it will be a viable main event.
Agreed.
And it was also used, like the IC title was also like the stepping stone. Like, okay, we got a guy coming up the ranks. We can see how he does with the IC title. It was like a measuring stick. See if he could get over with that. Then they knew that they could make the next step with him and push him to the world title. But when you have a title like the IC, so prestige in itself, at times I liked it more than the world title. Majority of the time.
Yeah.
But when the last time he defended it on a pay-per-view was not this WrestleMania, but the WrestleMania before that, which is almost 15 months ago, that is crazy. At least the U.S. title, they've defended it on the pay-per-view schedule more often. But I feel like it's funny when I look at the titles in WWE, the second title to the Word title is the Word and NXT title that I felt like is the most used and most prestige right now is the North American title. I feel like that is used more than any other title. And then they have good storylines with it. And all the matches are great. And then they usually have a guy drop it and then he moves up. We just saw that with Cameron Grimes. He dropped the title and then he's moved up and now he's fighting for the world title. So they're making it mean something down there, whereas up here, it's not. I hope it's stopped now. I hope that the fact that they gave it to Gunther is a good sign because he's a great wrestler. He lost a lot of weight. He looks great. Like he looks ripped compared to what he was on the indie scene. And I think he could make that belt mean something again. He's the right guy to do it. It's just we have to see if WWE is going to go and pull the trigger on that.
Indeed. And Clark Street, as Devin says, It's up to the wrestler to elevate the mid-card title, for example, The Miz. The title doesn't make the man, the woman, it's the wrestler. Agreed? Definitely, depending on the character, you know? I agree with that. And then speaking of character,
the decision making, putting the titles on wrestlers who are not going to elevate it. Like,
exactly.
When was the last time you seen Ricochet cut a good ass promo? When was the last time you seen Ricochet have believable promos and storytelling? You don't see it, so why put the title on him? And I'm a Ricochet fan.
I will say though that if you're gonna put it on him, at least have him cut a promo. Like, when was the last time they've had him cut a promo?
Yeah,
because I will say because I will say when they put the belt on him, he's been defending it almost every other week at least. So it's like at least he's wrestling and using the belt, whereas before you rarely seen it being used at all. So at least he did it, and then he was able to make it mean something, so that when he dropped the title to Gunther, that it was something big, not just Gunther won it, and we know he's going to lose it soon. At least because the thing something.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you have to, the wrestler elevates the title, but if the wrestler is not given opportunities to elevate that title, the title is not going to get elevated.
Definitely. And now the other one that shocked the world, that, I mean, it's still obviously not confirmed, but she's still on the roster, but that's Sasha Banks. If she is released or not. Where now the story I see that developing is that supposedly it's her attorney who's doing most of the work. That is her requesting it, not WWE. So I guess WWE is the ones that are possibly in the works to allow it. But if this does happen, if they release Sasha Banks, is this a huge loss for WWE? And especially, with everything was going on, we'll get into that right now after this segment. But is this a huge loss for them if they actually grant her release? So back to you, Dan. What do you think?
Personally, I think it's a huge loss because she has the personality. She's great on the mic. She can wrestle a great match. She's been in everything. A lot of the first matches that they've had, she's been in them since coming up from NXT. And we've been talking about the IC title, and one of the big things around her being out was because the women's tag titles, which is in the same thing. They got tag titles that are just there for show and tell. They don't defend them, or they're used to build up something else instead of building up the tag division that they have. They have a good tag division in NXT, but then they don't have anything up on the main roster, which is why I think you're going to see a couple of these tag teams get pushed up a little early now from NXT since they need tag teams to go for these titles. They're going to have this tournament, and there's probably only going to be 2 teams in the tournament because that's how many tag teams that they have. So it's going to be like a finals per se. So it's not really going to be a tournament, but she's just so talented, and I agree with it. Like, I don't agree with how she did it, with how she decided to not do the show. You want to honor your contract, but I get why. She knows her worth. She knows that she should be used. She knows that she should have a say, at least, in it. Because she went to the back. She made her concerns. She told Vince. Vince agreed with her, but then creative just said, "No, we're not going to do that." And they just disagreed with it, and they continued. So it made it sound like what her opinion meant nothing to them. And then I felt like that's where maybe Vince should have stepped in and been like, "Hey, maybe we can find like a happy medium here that will benefit her, but then benefit us too with what you guys want to do, because it's all about the relationship and building a relationship and working together." And that's not what was being shown. And then she just has had enough with it, I guess. It's been known several times that she's been quote unquote difficult to work with, but she just wants things to be fair for her. It's not necessarily what people are saying where she wants to be champion and it should be her opportunity. It's just she wants the women's division to be represented. She wants everybody to have equal opportunity. She wants all the championships to have meaning, and not just okay, you guys, it's not my time to go for the belt, so let me shimmy on down and do a tag team with Naomi, and then we're going to try and work this out to mean something so people like it, but then you not do anything with it. It's just I think it's a lot of frustration with her, and that's what created all this, and I think that you can build from it, and with her, and they could have fixed the problem rather than not have a problem in itself.
Right.
And this is what led to this.
Damn, man. Brother De Niro.
Yeah, I definitely think if Sasha Banks is released or if Sasha Banks is no longer with the WWE, that is a massive loss, right? We were just talking about lack of star power in WWE. And in the women's division, Sasha Banks is top, 4, I say, like star power wise. That original 4 horsewomen that came up, right? Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Bayley, and Becky. I feel like they should have been the focal point. I mean, you can't keep them on the top at all times, but they should be like your most 4 respected women in the company. The fact that Sasha Banks is not happy, that says something because she had a lot of opportunities. She's been in WrestleMania's main events. She's been women's champion. Like Dan said, she was in a lot of first Hell in a Cell. She was in the first Iron Man or Iron Woman match in NXT. So, like, yeah, I mean, she knows her worth, and I agree with her sticking to her guns and saying, you know what, if I'm not treated how I want to be treated here, fuck it. And like I said before, like she's an independent contractor. So it's like at the end of the day, this is the perks of being an independent contractor, even though it's like a real gray area with wrestling, like, signing contracts or you're an independent contractor. Still, if you don't feel like they're using you to the best of your ability here, you have the right to not work there because that is basically what independent means. You know what I mean? So definitely a big loss. I've seen people saying that if she leaves the WWE, she's probably going to go right into acting and not wrestle anymore. I feel like wrestling's in her blood. She loves wrestling. I think she's definitely going to be wrestling. Anybody who picks up Sasha Banks is picking up a megastar who's going to really elevate any women's division. Not even just saying just AEW, but if Impact. Oh, yeah.
There you go. I gotta see that. Mercedes is all the league. Gonna see that. Like, oh shit.
Yeah. Oh, so like, yeah.
Future baddie.
No, but yeah, so like Sasha Banks is a megastar, and especially like you have like the whole connection with Snoop Dogg. Like there's a lot that they're missing out on. I feel like, I don't know, you have someone like Sasha Banks on your roster, you keep her happy. She's not only a star, she has the star presence. She's talented as fuck. She's shown that in big match situations, she's going to deliver. Like, I still to this day think that Ronda Rousey's best match was against Sasha Banks at the Royal Rumble a couple years ago. Like,
for Ronda, yes, I agree.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with that.
Same.
So Sasha Banks is known to not only put on great performances, but to elevate opponents. Now, what would you think would happen if she's in? And at the time, Ronda Rousey was still like a novice to professional wrestling, right? Like, say you put a Sasha Banks on an AEW roster working with women that need to like step it up or could take that next level, and having someone like Sasha Banks elevate them. I feel like anywhere Sasha Banks goes, she's going to elevate that women's division.
Yes, agreed. And it will be an incredible loss for WWE and for Vince, especially if he allows this to happen, because that's a major asset that she is for, the world of professional wrestling. Because automatically everyone will be in line, especially TK. He'll be there. He'll be right away. Oh, okay, how much you need? Tony TK will open that checkbook up and pay her whatever she wants.
He's already calling her on the private number right now. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure they're already talking privately, like under the table, low key. I wouldn't be surprised if they're already talking. So I mean, it is a huge loss, and I'm with you too. I don't disagree with. I know that maybe the way how it looked in a professional standpoint was wrong, of course, but you also got to think as well. She has she has all her reasons, and I agree with the reasons. That, for how many years we've been pushing to have the women's division in WWE so relevant, and then them having at the time when they had that moment, with the Women's Evolution pay-per-view and everything, and they had that moment going and introducing the tag team titles. I was expecting to see them having that belt being defended on all brands, especially NXT, not NXT creating their own separate NXT tag team. It should have been only one defending all 3 brands and making it prestige as well. But it's unfortunate that, all this is occurring. And like I said, I mean, if Sasha does, gets what she wants and she leaves, oh man, That's good. It's a huge impact for WWE because Sasha can go anywhere. I don't think she'll stick with one promotion. She's able to go to Impact. She's able to go to NWA. She's able to go to AEW. Heck, she can even go to Japan and go over there. She's been wanting to go to Japan, go wrestle in, Tokyo Joshi.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine her just going to NWA and then popping up on NWA Power and then seeing that crowd react to her being there? Because of a couple of the wrestlers there. Like I've been a big Camille fan. Can you imagine Camille versus Sasha Banks? That'd be a great match.
That'd be a great match.
But then you can also say with this Saturday with the Slammiversary, you can also say you got this 5 or 6 woman Queen of the Mountain match for the title, and you got all those women there that are very well that could wrestle Sasha Banks. You got Chelsea Green, you got Sasha Steeles, you still got Mickey James there, even though she's not in the match. You got Taya, you got all those women there, and it gives her a lot of options there. Plus, you got the women's tag titles over there, so there's more options there. So I wouldn't even be surprised if she went to Impact and then did like a thing with that.
Yeah, me personally, I think that I would like to see her in Impact because I don't know. I've been saying it since day one. Like Impact was the start of the women's revolution in professional wrestling, right? The Knockouts division was what started women having like these great matches, main event matches, and they don't get to shine for it. But I definitely think that like that's like right up her alley. Like Impact does showcase their women a lot more. I saw what Clark Street said about AEW only having like one woman a night. Like that's totally true. Like I 100% agree with that. So like I feel like until I was just like saying like I'm sure AEW is like begging for the chance to get Sasha Banks on that roster. But yeah, I think what would make more sense for her would go to a company like Impact, someone that already is like showcasing the women just like she wants.
Definitely. Oh man, Kofi Winston! Don't forget to subscribe to Dirty Heels Podcast.
My boy.
That's right. Oh, I didn't even see the game one. Oh man,
and I think with how Impact and NWA do their tapings, because they're all tapings in advance, she could technically work both territories. She can work NWA and Impact at the same time, as long as they allow it, which I think Scott D'Amore would have no issues with, and vice versa with Billy Corgan.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Shout out Dirty Heels.
That's right. And then, of course,
great show.
This man got himself again in trouble, first with the government and now making
movies.
Making movies.
We make scandals.
It makes
we make scandals, pal.
We make scandals, pal. Because man, I'm telling you, man, he likes
My testicles are the size of grapefruits.
That's right. That's what he definitely told her, that paralegal for sure. And
son of a bitch.
And I knew it. Vince McMahon getting in trouble again, as Wall Street Journal, I guess, reported that they were doing an investigation for Vince McMahon. $3 million that were, where was that money? Where'd the money go to? So at this moment, as we know, what has been reported, that he hired a paralegal, 41-year-old female for paralegal, pretty much boosting her salary at $100,000, and then boosting it for another $100,000 after having consensual relationships, and then transferring her to Johnny Ace, hey, go to Johnny Ace and being the assistant, and of course that's when the whole like a toy subject became, and now 8 of the board members are hired, attorneys from New York to investigate more. And this is really, even though Vince says it's business as usual, pal. That's it. I'm pretty sure Vince want to know who was the one who actually ratted him out and everything else, because I guarantee you that Vince McMahon, he wants to know who added
with a lethal dose of poison.
Yeah, you gave her that poison, Vince. You did, and I'm pretty sure you want to know who the hell said it.
Son of a bitch! Take me to him! Come on! Go! 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 Go!
You're on fire. You're on fire right now.
You're on fire, Vince. You're on fire right now. But yes, if Vince McMahon should be asked to step down, basically not be part of WWE, who should be the one to be his successor? As we know, we have Bruce Pritchard, Michael Hayes. I don't see Kevin Dunn because I heard he got in trouble. He's getting in the mix of trouble too. That he's part of this allegation that is going on. So that's that's another one.
You got all social media coming at Nick Khan.
And Nick Khan,
yeah. all those things like a couple years ago, Nick Khan takes over, and this is his evil plan to take the company from Vince.
Nick Khan is like Thanos. He has the Affinity Stones, and it's all the McMahons. He has Shane gone, Triple H gone, Stephanie gone, and he's working on that last one.
He's working on the last one, popping Vinny again.
Yep.
Oh, man. But yes, I mean, that's all we know. I know that Bruce Pritchard is second in command after Vince. We know Bruce has worked with Vince for a very long time, like Patterson. So I could say that's his successor. I don't see Michael Hayes, unfortunately, because Michael Hayes, outrage, just that alcohol, do. I don't see Michael Hayes. I don't see Michael Hayes being a part of that because another one who gets in trouble a lot, with the drinking and the racism too, because that's Michael Hayes. He's a Southern guy, and unfortunately, but I think Pritchard will be the guy. But Vince, I honestly, I feel that all this shit happening, Vince is gonna get away with it. The one who's not is Johnny Ace. I think he's a fall guy. He's gonna take the bait. And mind you that he is married to the Bella's mother. I wonder how's that gonna look. And I think if that does happen, he's gonna lose everything. Johnny Ace is gonna be obsolete to lead it completely from the from the IWC world. I can tell you that right now. And maybe Kevin Dunn. That would be another huge loss if Kevin Dunn is part of this somehow and a guilty one, and he gets caught most of the dirt. That's a big loss because the board of directors will be asking to let him go. And Kevin Dunn that's Vince's other right-hand man that does all the production, who's in charge of the production. That'll be a huge loss. But then again, I wouldn't care. That Bugs Bunny looking motherfucker, that's fine. He needs to go because I'm sick and tired of his shit, what he does. But I don't know. This is, for me, so I'll ask you guys this. Should Vince step down and have someone else taking over while this is being processed? Or do you feel that Vince is just going to brush it off and just business as usual as he quoted it today? So back to you, Dan.
More than likely, it's going to be business as usual, but something's going to be done in the background. They've been doing all these talks with all these networks about buying out WWE. That's why you've seen all these wrestlers get released. A lot of people are like, oh, maybe they just want to simplify the roster. No, I think it's because they wanted to get rid of some of the salary. It's easier for a network to buy a company like this when they don't have all these wrestlers attached to it. You just got the most important ones, and then you buy, and then you can do what you want with it from there. Then you can add or subtract or whatnot. They've been in the plus money-wise the past year since doing that, and even with cutting people. They've been cutting people regardless. So I think this had something maybe to do with it. Maybe they've been looking to step down or at least sell it to somebody so you have that burden off of you. It's just that it hasn't happened yet. I said it in weeks prior that it was going to be Fox, and Vince and WWE were trying to sell the whole company to Fox, but Fox didn't want to pay the price that they put down. So that's why they only did SmackDown. That's why they've only focused on SmackDown. That's why USA has had a Raw, so it's kind of split in two. And then that's why they sold all the library to Peacock. They sold all the library to Peacock because they're trying to make moves for the future. So it's just a matter of who's it going to be, and then who can they trust. And I think it's going to be somebody that we don't know. I think somebody's going to come in, buy the company, and then maybe they put Bruce Pritchard in that light. Maybe it's just like the UFC where Dana White had it with the Feretta brothers. Somebody bought it out, and then you have coming in here where they keep Dana White involved.
Yeah, because he was like the face. He was a face for the UFC, so they kept him involved, for that reason. And I think they could do the same for Vince, have him be involved. But with this situation, I think he should just step down and have someone else take over. Everybody keeps saying Paul Levesque, but no, he is in no condition to take over at all, especially with his health conditions. No way, no how. Yeah, and plus, who says he wants to? Right? It's like that's another thing too. Who says that he wants to? So, I mean, I don't know, man. We'll have to wait down and see down the line. But what are your thoughts, Nero, about all this situation?
When this came out, right, the first thing I said was like, I am not surprised. Like, this is the man who was kissing divas back in the 90s just because it was part of the storyline, right? Not because he wanted to kiss any like 20-year-old blondes, right? But yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. Vince McMahon has been doing sleazy shit for a long, long time. Like, do I even have to bring up the whole Jimmy Snuka cover-up shit, right?
Oh, my God, yeah.
So there's a lot of sleazy shit that Vince McMahon does. And, the non-disclosure clause and all that shit, like, I could only picture Vince being like, all right, how much do you need to shut up? You know what I mean? How much do you need to not go talk about this? So, like, him paying $3 million to, like, cover this up, at this point in Vince's career, because I see a lot of people comparing this to, like, the steroid trials and shit. But Vince was like still young and, he wanted to like take over the world, right? At this point of his career, what's left? You know what I mean? This could not only tarnish your legacy, but yeah, I mean, I don't think that Vince McMahon he doesn't need this at this point. He doesn't need the money. He doesn't need the stress of WWE. He doesn't need the working with all these, multimedia companies. And yeah, I mean, like I said, at this point, he's touching 80 soon. Like, just leave it alone, man. Like, you did what you did. Your legacy's there. Just step away. Like, before you just tarnish everything else. Like, everyone already says he's lost touch. They've been saying he lost touch for years. Then on top of that, now he's like bringing negative publicity to the company. It's going to be bad if more shit comes out. Like, I was already saying, like, if this is coming out now, who's to say that there's not more in the pipeline that comes out? Because usually, as we've seen lately in the last like 5 years, when something comes out about somebody, it's like the floodgates are open, and then all of a sudden, it's like a bunch of out speakers start coming out. So, like, the moment one person speaks up, or the moment that you have one
they spoke up. Out, he spoke up.
Yeah, exactly. My dog is speaking up right now. What did this man do to you? What did this do? No, but so yeah, the moment someone speaks out, usually more people speak out, and all it takes is one, like, for example, like, not saying I'm not trying to make any allegations, but if there's anywhere it's like, oh well, it wasn't consensual, or if there was like, oh, I feel like sexually harassed by Vince McMahon, that's going to really ruin his legacy. So before things get really nasty and bad, I do think he should just step down. Yeah. On top of that, yeah, I totally agree. I've been saying it for a long time. I think that the WWE is for sale, and I think that that's why Nick Khan was brought in to begin with, to help get it ready, like polish it up a little bit, create like a nice package, and then sell it off. Who's going to buy it is going to be interesting. I know a lot of people think Disney. I can't see the Attitude Era on Disney Plus, so like that would be really interesting.
Yeah. No.
I know a lot of people.
What about this guy?
Here. There's no shame. It's me.
What about
bro? The wrestling world will melt the fuck down. And the thing is, he has the money to do it. He has the money to put in a good offer. But I think ego-wise, Vince wouldn't sell to Tony Khan in a million years, right?
Yeah, but it's
I think it's gonna wind up being. I think it's gonna wind up being the People's Champ. I think it's gonna wind up being Dwayne Johnson.
I think so too. It might be Dwayne. Yeah, it might be Dwayne Johnson.
He bought the XFL from him. So, but it's just Dwayne Johnson's probably gonna have to come in with a bunch of investors, kind of like when
and he has the investors because that's what he's done. He with the XFL. Well, XFL was him and his ex-wife.
Yeah,
but then they have investors involved in a lot of projects that he does, and they trust him And I could see him coming in with him, his ex-wife, and then like an investor group, and just come in there and then have somebody run it for him, and then he's just the money guy.
I agree. I think that
ready for him.
What?
Should be him.
Yeah, I think that maybe Dwayne Johnson comes in with Universal, because Universal NBC, like, they have that show Young Rock. Supposedly, like, Dwayne Johnson really created some good relationships with NBC since starting that show Young Rock, and we're constantly hearing about NBC being one of the probable like sell or buyers, right? We already have WWE Network on Peacock now, so if they already have the video library, like, it looks like they probably want that company. If they're going to buy the library, you're probably going to want the rest of the company. You know, you want it all. And someone like Dwayne Johnson, you have ties with him, it would make sense. It's going to be interesting. I don't think that Vince McMahon owns WWE in the year 2025. I'll tell you that much. I think that it's going to be soon.
He has ties in all these networks. He has ties in Peacock because one of his shows on one of the networks, Young Rock. He has ties with Disney. Mm-hmm. He has ties with I think HBO. Like, he has ties all around that could work for something like this, taking over, then find somebody to just be to run the whole the company for him. Like, he could, like I said, he could just be the guy there that buys it, and maybe Vince is still there for the time being while he finds his replacement, but then he doesn't have to worry about everything else. He just has to worry about the show. Because Vince is all over the place. He's about the show. He's about everything else with the wrestlers, the other companies dealing with that. When you take that away and he just has to worry about WWE and that's it, it might allow him to do this job for an extra like 5 or 10 years. And maybe it's like all the extra stuff that's just too much for him.
I think it's all depending on if more shit comes out, because if more negative shit comes out, then you're not going to want him to be the face of the company. Yeah, like, exactly. If it depends on what comes out of the scandal, because the rumors are like this is not the only thing that they're investigating.
Oh, there's a lot more. That's what they're saying. It's a lot more to it. Oh, poor Vinny. Poor Vinny. All right. Let's get into it, because you know what time it is. It is Dynamite! That is right. It's about AEW Dynamite, ladies and gentlemen. As we're here to recap AEW Dynamite of what happened 24 hours ago, because a lot of shit has been, especially with this card right here. A lot of changes, of course, for the main event, as we know, but it's just good shit. Some good shit. So let's start with the opening match of AEW. This hair versus hair match. The Cajote, Jericho, Jazz versus Ortiz. Now, of course, we did see a lot of interference in this match almost towards the end, like half of the way of the match. But I was like, where the hell is Santana? Where the hell is everybody else? Why they only just left Kingston by himself the whole halftime of the match until like right towards the end? And then right when we see Fuego del Sol, I swear, I was like, oh shit, Fuego's turning heel. I literally, this is my, like when I first saw that, I literally cringed and I was really happy. I love it. I loved it because I think that would have been great seeing Fuego now being a part of Jazz. But then, of course, we found out it wasn't Fuego when Jericho won. It was this man right here. That's right, Sammy Guevara, ladies and gentlemen. He ended up.
I knew. I saw him hit it, and when I saw him stand up before he like left and hit, I knew all along that it was Sammy, just because it is the outline of the face, and then how tall he was. Like, he only stood up for a second because I guess he didn't want to stand up too much to give it away too soon. But I'm like, everybody's like, why is Fuego doing this? Why is Fuego doing this? And then I'm thinking, okay, who's friends with Fuego del Sol, and then who has ties to Jericho? I'm like, Sammy Guevara. I'm like, this would work out perfectly because he is a heel right now in itself, or he transformed into a heel, so it gives him something to do right now.
I had the JR reaction when Vince McMahon revealed himself as the higher power. I was like, oh, son of a bitch.
Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. Where is that son of a bitch? Where are you? I have it somewhere here. Jesus.
Oh, son of a bitch. What? It's me, Austin. It was me all along.
There you go. It was Sammy, damn it. It was Sammy. I was like, Jesus. Oh, man. But, I mean, are you guys happy that they're, in Jazz, take Conte and Sammy? I mean,
no, I'm not. I'm not. No, but it's not because I don't like Sammy. I think that, like I said, I think I said on the show like a week ago, I was saying how Daniel Garcia's got like that Sammy Guevara role when he was in the Inner Circle, working under Chris Jericho. I think adding someone like Sammy is just going to crowd up this faction of Jericho Appreciation Society. And I think that Jericho and Sammy did everything they could do together. I think it was time for Sammy to break out and do his own thing. And I like that he was doing his own thing. As a heel babyface, like as long as he was doing his own thing, I think that the relationship with Jericho ran its course. And now, like, if you look at Jericho Appreciation Society, half of it's just the Inner Circle again.
Yeah, pretty much. I definitely agree.
I'm okay with it just because it gives him something to do. Like I said, like what are we gonna have him do? Like wrestle random matches, which he probably would do anyway. But then I look at it like this: Junior Garcia more than likely is going to go down to Ring of Honor. They're doing the show next month, and when that starts up, I can only imagine that he's going to be down there 4 times. So maybe this is a thing for the future where he's going to be down there. You got Sammy Guevara, but then Sammy Guevara winds up taking over. I could see a thing where Sammy Guevara turns on Jericho and they kick him out of the group.
Oh, wow, really?
Like the Judgment Day.
Yeah, like the Judgment
Day, right? like the Judgment Day, but it'll be better because you could kind of see it going because he's been in the group already.
Yeah, true.
That's very true, very true. But you're
talking about did it this week. Though. Do it right away.
I know, right? To do it next week, right?
Yeah, right next week.
Yeah. But final thoughts of the match, though.
Good match, a lot of intensity. I like how Ortiz wasn't playing around. As soon as like he came out, he just bum rushed the ring and wanted to fight. And I mean, I definitely thought that Jericho was going to lose because he already, you see like his hair thinning, he's balding a little bit. I thought that this was a way of him to shave his head bald, but I like the fact that Ortiz lost and took it on the chin. He just started shaving his own head, and I like how they're continuing to build towards blood and guts.
Yeah. I like how they're doing it. He's going blood and guts.
Yeah.
Blood and guts. Blood and guts.
As he's doing it the wrong way and fucking cutting himself on his head.
Yes, he was. I noticed that too.
He was like shaving it, and then you saw like he was like cutting himself open. Like, dude.
Like, what are you doing? Like, Jesus. And the next segment for this, of course, we have the 20 plaintiffs versus Wardlow. Jesus Christ, man. I don't know how much money TK paying all these, these indie guys. Like, here's a $200 each. Get your ass whooped by Wardlow for like 5 minutes, and you guys are fine. And because we got to be here making movies here, So, and that's what they're doing. But and then of course, I was glad to see though Matt Hughes and Tyler Rooney, and shout out to Matt Hughes, especially the train accident. And I know he's still recovering. Man, it's sad to see him, how he whacked, but how he's walking. But I know he's recovering little by little. But it was good to see him. It's been a long time. Did not expect to see that, of course. It looks like they're teasing little by little, building that storyline for Scorpio Sky. Eventually, I think we're going to see it down the line happening at what's the next event? All Out. I'm pretty sure that, in September. We might just see that happening. And then, of course, Scorpio Sky dropping the belt to Wardlow. So, I mean, your thoughts about this segment, Dan? What are your thoughts?
I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was just a filler thing to segue into it. The paying each indie guy, I thought wasn't too bad because, hey, all they took was either a leg kick or a power bomb. So it wasn't like they took too much damage. And they got paid for it, so it was a nice just like with seasons of.
I'll do it too.
Yeah, I would. Just like with seasons of TV shows, you always have the important episodes, but then you got those filler episodes in to bridge the gap between the important moments, and that's what this was. This was just one of those further moments. It dealt with the quote unquote lawsuit of him dealing with MJF by always attacking the security guys, and then now he gets that around him. It was very good to see Matt Hughes walk into the ring just like you said, there's a point where he couldn't walk, he couldn't move, he was paralyzed. And now you get this moment where you see him walking up and walking into the ring. It just meant a lot to me to see that, because I used to watch him, like I'm sure you did too.
Yeah.
I watch him fight, and he was one of my favorite guys to watch. And then you see that, and then you see them turn on Dan Lambert, and they're like, F this. And they're like, come on now. And it was very cool. And Wardlow just seems like a tough guy, but a nice guy in itself. Like, he respects people with his character. And I like that about what they're doing with him. And this is the one guy, like we said a lot, that AEW can build on, and build on kind of slow. They don't have to just boom. We see that he's a talent. Let's put the title on him. We've seen them do it with kind of Hangman, even though his title reign wasn't as good, but the chase with him was great, the 2-year chase. Then you had Wardlow with MJF, the chase to get the match and then to get the contract and get out of MJF was great. And now they're kind of slow playing him once again, which, as they should. He's one of the most important pieces of the roster. And even himself, he said, I want to take the belt from Punk. So with him out, it's giving him something to do. You can have him chase the TNT title, win it, and then eventually down the line, when Punk comes back and eventually unifies the titles, he can go for that. And it gives you enough time to build Wardlow even more than what he is now.
Indeed. Yeah. Brother De Niro.
Yeah, I mean, like Dan said, it was just filler. Like, I saw a lot of people saying, like, why is he doing this? Like, you're wasting Wardlow. Like, you can't have Wardlow main eventing every week and putting him in top. Like, you have to have the bridges in between. But definitely, like, I was so happy to see Matt Hughes. Matt Hughes was probably, like, my favorite UFC fighter when I was, like, peak fandom for UFC. I remember his fights with, like, Matt Serra and his fucking wars with GSP. Like, great fighter, and amazing to see him walk after the accident and all that. Definitely really cool to see that. But yeah, I think that, everything that Dan said is 100% true. Like, it's just a bridge to get you to the next point. I don't know in what world does, subpoenas get taken away if you just beat up the person that, is suing you. And also, Tony Khan definitely raided some independents in St. Louis for this, because there's a whole lot of security guards there. But definitely, like, I liked it for what it was. It was cool to see Wardlow just pile bodies. Like, he's on a warpath.
Yeah. And there was a cool social media post that was really cool. It was of Johnny Hungry taking a picture with Matt Hughes, and it said something along the lines of, I get to take a picture with one of my idols, yada yada. And it was him and Matt Hughes, of course, because he said that was one of his favorite fighters. So that was a cool thing to see after the event.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of event, this one right here, ladies and gentlemen, Dax Harwood versus Will Ospreay. Jesus. Man. Jesus.
This is such good shit.
It was good shit. Damn it. Jesus Christ. I was literally like this. I was like that. I was like, wow. Like the whole. I was like TK, man.
Let's fucking go.
That's right. Let's fucking go, because that match fucking took it to the limit. Oh my god! And then one thing I want to digress with this match. Fantastic. They were given most of the time throughout the whole show, and what I love about it more is how they gave it a Dax. I know people are saying, why. Why not a singles competitor? Why a tag team, competitor? Who gives a shit? Dax chemistry in the in-ring performance with Will Ospreay, chef's kiss. I love that shit, because the fact is that how throughout the whole match, you could tell it was smooth. Everything was up to par with the moves and just the chemistry, how they gelled in. This is how you can tell that FTR is ready to go to New Japan. This is FTR's point to go to fucking New Japan and challenge for those IWGP heavyweight tag team title. Do it again.
Let's fucking go.
That's right. Let's fucking go, man.
hit the Ned Flanders.
Okay, I will. Yes, because this match was. It was that way.
There's a lot of Ned Flanders moments on the show for me.
Oh my god, man! Tell me about it. This match was. I loved it. It was incredible to see that. I'm glad, even though Dax lost. I know people were upset. Oh well, he lost, but he lost clean. It was great. Yeah. The match overall delivered to all of us, and it got the whole crowd going. AEW or New Japan, and everything. It was. This is the type of matches that we're hoping to see at Forbidden Door. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. This match sold me, and then of course we did see the aftermath, the United Empire coming out. So then we see Orange Cassidy making his return. So now they made the announcement: Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP US title at Forbidden Door. So,
even though the title won't be there.
No, it won't be there. Where's my fucking belt?
I literally just watched that after he won the match at Dominion. I watched that 3-minute clip of him in the back when United Empire. He was like, "Where's my belt? Where's my belt?" He's like, "I worked the match. All you got to do is strip him, get the belt." You couldn't even do that. It was like, so now we need to do things now. He was like, we were already going to the States. Do I need to go to the Orlando and knock on all the doors to find the belt? He was like, I will do it. And it's like, I just love everything, how it's like just working with Will Ospreay and his storyline. And now you can mix it up with AEW as well. And the reason they did Dax was because of the storyline with the tag title match, and then he was there, and it was all about, you were wondering, what does this have to do with Will Ospreay? Because you can see with Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb and maybe Ozzy Open, because they're tag teams, and then Roppongi Vice. You can see a little bit of that, but now you know why. It was to kind of give an usher in to bring back Orange Cassidy, which I almost forgot all about him because he hasn't been on the show in like 3 months. I felt like, so I forgot all about him. So when I saw him come out, like I went Ned Flanders. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna have him.
Yes,
and I was like, it makes for a good match, and not necessarily it's the match that you envisioned, but it's just the styles and how they're going to have a wrestle match. And people, this is a match that you're never going to see before, or probably see for a while again. So I'm going to enjoy it for what it is.
But what about the match with Dax and Ospreay? Did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed it a lot because I got to see Dax wrestle. Of course, FTR wrestle each other in Philly. I got to see that match live, and every time he does a singles match, he always puts on match of the night with his intensity, his move set. He's just there because he loves to wrestle. That's what they said. They love to wrestle. You don't need to do high-flying moves. It's just they're in there. They're very technical, and it meshed well with Will Ospreay and his high-flying moves. And then since he's mixed in these ground game moves as well, it's made him a better wrestler. And I thought Dax brought out a lot of the great moments of Will Ospreay, and vice versa. They were able to sell together. I thought Dax took the Oz Cutter. It was probably one of the best Oz Cutters I've seen from Will Ospreay.
I love
it. And then he sold the hidden blade.
Oh,
fantastic.
My God. Yes, he did.
He
like,
sold it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes.
Like, if he wasn't in one of the best tag teams in all of the world, I'd be like, man, I want to see Dax wrestle as a singles guy, but he's in one of the best tag teams in the world, so it's like I don't want him to take away from FTR, but I like these once every now and then singles matches that he gets to do now.
Absolutely. Brother Mike, talk to me.
Yeah, I agree. And I thought that was going to be my hot take, and I know how people are going to take it, but I guess it's going to be agreed upon. I think that Dax Harwood is in the best tag team in the world, and I think that Dax Harwood very well may be one of the best singles wrestlers in the world. Because if you think about his singles matches, he's been putting on bangers. And every time he's in there, it's one of the, like Dan said, one of the best matches of the night. But even like, look at the singles match he had with CM Punk. In my opinion, that was the best. Besides the dog collar match, that was probably the best CM Punk singles matchup. Like just a plain one-on-one singles matchup since he joined AEW. Dax Harwood he put on a great match with Darby Allin. I don't know if you remember a couple months back. He put on a great singles matchup with Cash, right? Yes, so Dax is legit. I mean, God forbid anything happens to FTR, because I think FTR is amazing, right?
I'm knocking on wood. I'm knocking on wood.
Yeah, but Dax very well may be one of the best wrestlers in AEW, and I think that him in the tag team. Say we never seen that. Like, imagine all this time we have one of the best singles wrestlers in the world, and we don't even know it because he's only doing tag matches. Like, that would be insane to think. So I'm glad that he's getting these opportunities, and I think that him and Will Ospreay had amazing chemistry. Like, they had chemistry like they were, rivals that wrestled hundreds of times before, because they were right there to catch everyone's spot. Dax Hardwood, I thought that, I was about to say Walter, but Gunther, I thought that Gunther had the hardest chops, but when Dax had Will Ospreay in the corner and chopped him, that shit, bro, I felt that. I was like, woo! Yo, that was insane. Like, Dax Hardwood chopped the shit out of him. Also, some of those, like, just, trading the elbow strikes. It was great matchup. The chemistry was there. And the post-match just made it even better because we got to see more of the United Empire together in AEW instead of like separately. We already seen Jeff Cobb and Great Khan. Then we seen Aussie Open and Will Ospreay. Here we got to see them all together, which was really dope. And I like that Orange Cassidy is back. I know a lot of people are hating, how do you waste Will Ospreay on the pay-per-view with Orange Cassidy? Orange Cassidy has not only entertaining matches, right? But on top of entertaining matches, he could really go. I seen him have amazing matches with Pac. I seen him have amazing matches with Kenny. So, like, he could go. I think that they're going to have a great match. You're going to obviously have your comedy spots in the beginning, but when things start to break down, he's going to be able to hang. I know me personally, I was hoping if Orange Cassidy did come back, I was hoping for Orange Cassidy versus Toru Yano at the pay-per-view.
Oh yeah,
that's comedy, but we ain't gonna get that. But yeah, definitely happy about this whole segment match. I think this was amazing, and yeah, once again, Dax Hardwood and Will Ospreay put on a classic.
Hell yeah! And shout out to Brian Cook. Welcome to the show, brother.
Good, Brian Cook.
And to see FTR go like this.
Oh yeah,
that made me laugh because they were standing there. All you see is Dax right next to him go like this, and I'm like, I'm loving seeing all this crazy personality from FTR. Like, they had the personality, but then you see him act a little goofy. It's great.
We're seeing a lot more of them since they turned babyface. Yeah,
absolutely
Wonderful.
Was wonderful. I'll tell you that this whole match, and yeah, I know I agree. I think everybody's upset the fact that why Orange versus. Will Ospreay, I know.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
But it's too bad. It's too bad. We're going to get it, all right?
I have a prediction. I have a prediction for – I don't think the titles are going to be on the line. I bet that they're going to do a 4-on-4. I think they're going to have Jeff Cobb, Great Khan, and Aussie Open go up against FTR and then Roppongi Vice.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's
and then you can save FTR in New Japan for a later time.
You could do FTR versus Great Khan and Jeff Cobb in New Japan for the IWGP champions, and then at Death Before Dishonor have them for the Ring of Honor champions rematch.
There you go. Oh, this is good shit.
I already know, like, that match I would like to see numerous times because I don't want that to be a one and done.
Give me what I want.
That's right. Just give us what I want. Just give it to us. Damn it, TK. But, man, look, I agree. People should not sleep on that Will Ospreay and Orange because that is going to be a show stealer could be. And especially, it's like Will Ospreay's looking at himself in the mirror, this young version of him when he first began his career with Orange Cassidy. And remind you, Will was his size before, Will was, built up too.
Yeah.
So I remember very skinny Will Ospreay.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I literally just watched the video today. It was Will Ospreay and Priestley versus Ricochet and Tessa Blanchard, and Will Ospreay was skinny, and now he's big, he's huge. Because that was like 5 years ago, and it's like, wow, he's gotten this big in a 5-year span. It's just it shows the growth that he's put into building the image of his new character now.
Yeah, it shows the dedication he has.
Absolutely. Then we had, of course, that little segment, Tanahashi and Moxley segment. I did like the preview video when he's like, I'm the fucking Forbidden Door. I loved it. Oh, man, hell yeah. See, this is what people need to learn how to, especially AEW. Pick this man's brain, man. He knows how to fucking talk on the mic, just like Eddie Kingston and Tanahashi, of course. And I was really surprised hearing the crowd chanting his name. I'm happy that he's getting that reaction. Look, I'm going to say this right now. This 3 years in the making, and I said it last time when we covered Dominion, this match better fucking deliver. 3 years of building this match, I better not disappoint because I will be upset if this main event does not deliver. I hope it does, and I hope there's no interference either because I want to see these men mano y mano, and the winner will take it all. And I hope it delivers and closes the show. Phenomenal. No pun intended, AJ Styles. But yes, I'm hoping it does. What tripped me out, and then we had, Jazz coming in, of course, with Lance Archer, Desperado. Good to see a Desperado there, too. I was really happy to see him. I was like, what? Desperado's there?
We were talking about that on Monday or on Tuesday when we were doing the New Japan thing. We were talking about how we would like to see Desperado showcase more and do more in the States. So I think that was really cool to see him.
So we know who's watching. TK, are you watching? I know you are.
That's fucking bullshit.
Don't bullshit us because you are watching. If you're listening too, damn it, you know it. But yes. And then we get the announcement that Jericho announced the 6-man. So it's Suzuki, Jericho, and Guevara versus Ortiz? Is it Ortiz? Oh, Wheeler Yuta,
Eddie Kingston, and
Shoka. Yeah, Red Shoe Sun. I love Red Shoe Sun, by the way, man. And Shoka, yes, he's great, by the way. Another underrated.
Who's on Jericho's side?
Suzuki and
Sammy.
I think it's Desperado is on his side.
No,
it's going to be Sammy Guevara and Jericho and Suzuki.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess but that's even better. It makes the whole having these guys on loan from Suzuki mean something.
Yeah.
Because at first I thought it was just Desperado. I'm like, okay, why is he having these guys on loan? But then you don't have Suzuki in it. But I must have missed that spot. But that's even better. I like that. I like that how, because he's the lead of Suzuki Gun, that he had these guys interfere, and then you add Suzuki into the match. Because I've been wondering what he's been doing because he's not doing anything right now. So
yeah.
And also we saw Lance Archer back with them. But like you said, when they announced Lance Archer for G1, it doesn't say Suzuki Gun. It says AEW. But we see that he's still with Suzuki Gun.
Yeah, which is great. You want to see that continuance, even though he's in another company.
Yeah, for sure.
But let me ask you this 2-part question. Obviously, will the match deliver? Will this 3-year buildup? And are you surprised that this Forbidden Door match card is like a mixture instead of being like all AEW roster versus the New Japan roster? I mean, what were you guys expecting from Forbidden Door? First of all, like the cold card itself, were you expecting like roster versus roster, or was it a mix and match? What were you guys expecting out of Forbidden Door, first of all?
Me personally, I think that this is exactly what I was expecting, like mix and match, because like you have storylines still going on in AEW. So to take a whole month break to not build up any storylines just to build up to this pay-per-view, I feel like you had to do some of this where you continue the storylines, but also introduce newer members from New Japan so you could have them built into the storylines. I was scared though. I'm not gonna lie. When Jericho came out, I was like, "Please don't make this a 3-way." Like,
I know.
Please don't make this a 3-way because Tanahashi and Moxley been built up for so long. The only time they ever touched was when you had Tanahashi, Moxley, Juice, and Ospreay at Capital Collision, and even that, I was like, "Yo, it would be great if we just get them 1-on-1." So now that we're getting it, it's like, all right, cool. Don't mess with that. But yeah, I mean. I did expect this though. I think that it was good that we have some mixing it up a little bit. If you would just had AEW versus New Japan straight like that, it would have been cool, but every match would have had the same story, us versus them. Where here now it's like you got some alliances between AEW and New Japan, and that's pretty cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
For some of these guys, you're going to see a lot of craziness in a couple of days because you got this, and then a couple of days afterwards on Dynamite, they got the Blood and Guts match literally 3 days later. So they're going to be doing a lot of wrestling and taking a lot of bumps. But it was nice. Like, I'm looking forward. I'm glad, like you said, that it's not Jericho in the match because that would have made it just crazy. But
no. I ain't doing that shit.
That's right. He ain't doing that shit.
Yes.
He better not do it.
But I think the match is going to pull through. I think it's going to be a really good match because I think the big thing with Tanahashi, like you said, he got a great reaction, was the fact that they utilized him over in the States a lot. And he's been on Strong several times. He's been over with AEW when they did that appreciation of Jericho. He got a video for Jericho. He's fought Jericho in the past in New Japan. So like, and then he's even fought Moxley. So there's familiarity there. And I think this format works great because when you have championships, I think that's the only way you can kind of in this format go New Japan versus AEW. When you have these mixed matches, it's easier to just have certain guys against certain guys and write it into storylines. Like you said, you don't want to mess storylines up. And I think they did it perfectly fine and to a point where it works to the advantage of both companies with their wrestlers at a certain point in time.
Yeah.
And I think they made at least the championship matches worthy of something.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree 100%.
Yeah. I definitely think the match is going to deliver too. Because I forgot to answer that second part of the question. My bad. But I think the match is going to deliver. It's Tanahashi in a big match situation. And we know like when Tanahashi, the lights are on, like he's always going to deliver. So definitely agree. Also, and I think it does help, like Dan was saying, that Tanahashi has been showcased in the United States, even going as far back as 2005, like being showcased in TNA, wrestling against like AJ Styles back in the day, wrestling in X Division matches in 2008. I remember he came in for a couple
my
shots.
God.
So
Yes.
like he's been showcased in the United States a lot for people to know, all right, you may not be so familiar with him, but you know the name, you know you've seen him once or twice. So I think that alone makes people a little bit more intrigued. And I think they're going to be surprised when, like I said, the bright lights are on. Tanahashi is still delivering. So, and it's Moxley. Moxley, I remember Moxley's title reign. Moxley had a great title reign. It's just a shame that a lot of people didn't get to see it live because he reigned all through the pandemic era. Yeah. But Moxley's title reign was very underrated. So you put a hungry Moxley versus a hungry Tanahashi. I think only way it doesn't deliver is if you do have like interference or the Jericho Appreciation Society tried to like mess up the match, which if that's the case, I think that would be a horrible idea, especially for this. This is for the AEW championship too. That would be a horrible idea.
I agree.
And a small thing I think that they added to the whole thing that I really liked was the fact that when Wheeler Yuta came in, the first guy he came after was El Desperado. And if everybody remembers, they were both in Best of Super Juniors. That was one of my favorite matches of the tournament. Was those two guys in the main event of night 4 or 5. So it was a good, subtle, small thing that they did that meant a lot to me because it was like these guys have a little bit of history from just a month ago, and they were able to just bring it out in a short segment without people really knowing too much, unless you know the product. But if you do watch the product, it was a good subtle move that they made.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm looking forward. Yeah, man. I agree with you. I'm looking forward to see how this is going to be outcome. I'm hoping that, like he said, like there's no interference as well. I hope not. That this will be mano a mano and it will deliver. I'm hoping that we see the best performance out of Tanahashi. I think for me, his best performance by far was Wrestle Kingdom against Kenta. That match was insane and brutal as fuck. And I think Kenta took Tanahashi to the limit, and I've never seen Tanahashi go to the limit that far. So it's for his age at 45, and still going strong. So I'm looking forward to see what he does with this match against Jon Moxley for Forbidden Door. So I cannot wait. And all right, what are we getting into now? To the All-Atlantic tournament. Of course, we had Ethan Page versus Miro, the Redeemer. The Redeemer, man, I just want to say, I'm a big fan of Ethan Page. I love him. I sucks that he's getting booked this way. I know I'm digressing. I'm just mad that he's getting booked this way. I'm crying for you, damn it. Ethan Page. Oh, I'm crying for Yes, I am crying for you, damn it, because I don't like you losing, man. I think you should be already a part of the TNT belt. This should have happened a long time ago. Him turning on fucking Scorpio Sky and him winning the actual belt. That would have been the biggest heat that he would have gotten from the fans, and I would have loved it. But It's fine. I mean, it's Miro. It was expected Miro was going to win. It just sucks that Ethan gets booked in these insane matches that he's not going to win. It's so predictable that we know he's not going to win. But now getting to see Miro in part of the All-Atlantic, four-way. But I got to say, this match was really solid. It was just more classic, solid. Your heel versus face. But even though Miro was not even a face, it was just himself. But the crowd was really behind him, though. I did enjoy that. So, kudos for Miro and Ethan Page for delivering a classic match, even though there was botches. The shoulder from Ethan Page, that was a botch. And then, of course, the spinning heel kick that Miro did it. Ethan Page. Oh, no, that was another botch. Yeah, there was a couple botches there that still need to work on, but it was okay. It was all right. Take it away, Big Dan. Your thoughts.
I think the right guy won, of course. We wanted Miro to go to the finals. And just like you said, it sucks that Ethan Page has been booked that way. He's in a team where the one guy's getting booked great, and then he's been booked and not booked so well. It's been a bad step down from his days in Impact with the North, where he was in one of the best tag teams, where they had this crazy year-plus long title reign, where they were arguably the FTR of Impact, where everybody loved watching them, and you wanted to see him wrestle other tag teams and other promotions before they got split up once his contract ran out, and then he went to AEW. And I think it's just the matter of Tony not knowing what to do with them. Scorpio Sky's been there from the beginning, so he's built that relationship with Tony Khan, and he has that personality and that swag, and Ethan Page has that. But I know that in between that time, he's gotten hurt, so he's missed a lot of time wrestling. So it's been a lot of stagnant stop with him. But I'm hoping that now that he's fully healthy, he's ready to go. He's not in Canada anymore. He's moved to the States, so it's easier for him to get places and to be more of a full-time wrestler. That it's going to change. But he still put on a good match. Like you said, there's a couple botches here. But I'm glad that they had Miro win, and I'm hoping that they utilize Ethan Page more on Dynamite now.
Mm-hmm. And don't worry, Tony will create. Yes, he'll get a belt. They should make their own version of the North American title.
The All Canadian Champion.
The All Canadian Championship. Yeah.
We're gonna have a Lance Storm all over again.
Right.
Oh, right.
If I could be serious for a moment.
Go right.
Definitely. I think the right guy went over. I think Ethan Page definitely. They did miss the boat with that when Scorpio Sky won the TNT champion from Sammy Guevara in that ladder match. The crowd was 100% behind Scorpio Sky. I thought that was a great babyface turn. And then he had the match with Kaz. I thought that the match with Kazarian was going to lead to him and, joining forces again with Kaz, and then Ethan Page turning on Scorpio Sky. Then you got the built-in feud for the TNT title between Ethan and Scorpio. They obviously didn't go that route, and now I feel like Ethan Page is just like lost in the mix of things. And now instead of being, a tag team with Scorpio, he's just Scorpio's, bodyguard type. He's not even bodyguard, but just his friend who
is bitch.
Yeah, I don't want to say it, but nah.
Maybe they're gonna pull the trigger on it down the road. Maybe it was just like a tidbit for you to remember, and then they're gonna do it later.
Yeah, sometimes I just feel like you gotta strike when the iron's hot, and I love long-term story building, but I feel like there's other times where you gotta strike when the iron's hot. And the way that crowd reacted for Scorpio Sky winning the TNT title, I feel like that was the right time. That crowd was hot.
Yeah.
For that.
I was there. I was there for the ladder match, and everybody went crazy.
Yeah.
And then I was able to get a couple of good videos of when he did when Sammy jumped off and he got cuttered by Scorpio, and then everybody just went nuts. And then when he got the belt,
that was a babyface making. Yeah, that was a babyface making match. So to turn make sure he stays heel. It kind of seemed like they missed the boat there. As for this match, like I said a couple weeks ago, Miro said coming into AEW that the only guy he refuses to wrestle is Pac. There's actual genuine bad blood between them because he Pac injured Miro in the WWE, and supposedly Pac wasn't apologetic for it, right? So now with Pac and Miro in the same matchup, the same thing that Miro said he will never do in AEW, it's going to be interesting to see them mix it up. Maybe they don't mix it up. Maybe they don't touch in the match, but I feel like they're going to have to. And if there's some bad blood there, I think that it's going to make for a more intense matchup, especially if you add Malachi to that mix, especially if you add someone like Ishii or who is it, Clark Connors. They're like it.
Yeah.
There's a whole a bunch of possibilities, but definitely I like that Miro's in this matchup, and I think either Miro or Pac should take it all the way.
Yeah, damn, I cannot wait for sure. All right, and then we get, of course, the Dr. DMD versus Tony Storm. That's right, DMD. I can say very brief. This match was okay. It was like, oh shit, it's Britt gonna win, or for a minute I thought, and I did get, she fooled us all. I'll tell you that she did a great job of selling, and seeing Toni Storm like try to grab her and like get the fuck off me, and seeing her, like I thought she was legitimately hurt because the way how she sold it perfectly. I was like,
playing possum.
Man. Yeah, she played it possum. Fantastic. She got us for sure, and she got us TV watching on television, especially. But it was a good solid match. I know everybody's like wondering why she's on a losing streak. I think everybody's saying maybe she has finals, maybe gonna take a quick break. Something tells me that we're gonna see somehow along the way she's gonna go face, and I'm hoping they don't go that direction and keep her heel, because that something tells me that Hater and Rebel are gonna turn on her. Something's gonna tell me.
I was just about to say, we've seen subtle moments where you've seen her say something, and then Hater would just look at her.
Yep.
And you'd be like, when is she going to make that move? Because she was like, this is my group, blah, blah, blah. And then you see Hater like, I'm good too, blah, blah, blah. Like, I wrestled her, and it's just like, I'm waiting for the moment that happens because it's going to be great. But then to piggyback off the whole match thing with Britt Baker kind of being on a losing streak, it's like a lot of people were complaining. Oh, I would say said it last week when we talked. I was like, at some point you have to build somebody else other than Britt Baker. You keep putting everything on her. It always goes towards Britt Baker winning, even when she doesn't have the belt. What do they do right after we talk about this? They have her lose, and now she's not in the title match or in any picture per se because she's lost 2 matches in a row. And Toni Storm's been hot. The crowd has been behind her, and like where they pulled the trigger, because afterwards they had Thunderusa come out, look at her, and then they booked the match for Forbidden Door, Toni Storm versus Thunderusa. I really hope that they put the belt on Toni Storm because she deserves it. We've all said that the title reign for Thunderusa has been lackluster. The build to it, the climb was great, but now the title reign itself has it, and I think Toni Storm has that personality, and she can at least talk on the mic better than Thunderusa. And I think the only thing that got me was when she did the pile driver. When they did the commentary for it, they did the Storm Zero, which is not a pile driver. It's a like a double underhook power bomb, and I'm like, did she mess that up, or did the commentary mess it up?
Yeah.
So good question. That is a good question. I have to go back and look at that. I didn't catch that.
Because if you watch it, they go the Storm Zero, but she did the pile driver, and she did it very quick. So did she mess up and do the pile driver because she couldn't pick her up in time, or was that her doing it all along and then commentary just messed up?
Oh man! Yeah, but thank you very much, Devin, for tuning in, man. Yes, the base coming soon.
Thank you, man.
Yes, the base coming soon. De Niro, take it away, my brother.
I thought it was a good match. I definitely was scared when Britt Baker was playing possum. I was like, oh man, like that would be a big injury for her. But I want to give some attention to Toni Storm's promo before the matchup. She cut a really good promo, and I think that's another way that she would be a better champion than Thunder Rosa. Because I love Thunder Rosa's in-ring, but like on the mic, she leaves a lot to be desired. So Toni Storm being able to talk and wrestle, I think that could be a plus for her.
Yeah.
I hope they pull the trigger. I know there's a lot of stories going around that that Thunder Rosa was like, I don't know if the term was sandbagging or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Arena. And there was also rumors of that happening with her matches with, I believe, Ivelisse in the past. And so, I mean, if that's the case, I hope not, because like I remember like wrestlers like Sexy Star and trying to purposely injure wrestlers like Rosemary and shit.
She broke her arm. Literally broke her arm. Like I was
disgusting. Like I don't know. I hope that that's not a thing, because Thunder Rosa seems like a lot more of a professional than that. But and I like Thunder Rosa a lot. I don't want her to lose the title, but if I think she's going to lose the title to anybody, Toni Storm is a great choice to put the title on her, because, like I said, she could wrestle great. She could cut a good promo, and I feel like that's going to build better stories for her going forward. Right now, Thunder Rosa's stories for her title defenses have not even been anything that was really intriguing. Like, the only reason why I was intrigued with her versus Serena Deeb was just because I saw them wrestle in the past before, and they are good opponents for each other, where like the story was like you add Dustin Rhodes and both of them can't really cut a promo, so it was like, all right, why are we even having them on the mic? Just tell them they're going to wrestle and fucking put them in the ring, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I feel like having someone like Toni Storm is going to be a lot better for the women's division.
Indeed. All right, and now we get into a little segment over here, the Hangman Page and Jay White segment. Woo, man, I love the Switchblade. What he said is the Switchblade era. It is a era for sure. Of course, we saw Adam Cole. No, you're not going to get a title shot. I am. Did you see Jay White out of nowhere, giving him, of course, the finisher, and then cutting his promo saying, "I'm not giving you a title shot. I'm not giving you one." And they're like, "What?" You know, I'm pretty sure the whole crowd was. Even me, I was like,
Really?
What's up with that?
Exactly. What's up with that, Jay White? What the hell are you doing? Are you getting us this way? Damn it! Who could it be? Who? And it's a good question, but I don't know. I mean, I think it's gonna. We talked about it before, but I think it has to be a fatal 4-way. I hope it's not a triple threat. They got to bring Okada back. Okada needs to come ASAP. I hope he does, but I don't know. What are your thoughts, Big Dan? Take it away.
I thought that was a great touch to tell Adam Cole. He's like, "You're not getting one either," because he laid out, of course, Hangman, and Hangman's going to be involved in it somehow because he's the one who initiated the whole that match, and it's a great way to have that friction between the Undisputed Elite and the Bullet Club star. It's a great way because Adam Cole was under the assumption that he was getting a title shot. Maybe they had to talk in the back, and then you heard him say, he was like, "I thought we had this plan. I thought we had this. This is the match, blah, blah, blah." And then he goes, "No." And it creates that build up to where we had to see something next week where maybe you see another promo section. You see Heyman get the match, but then you see Adam Cole come out and attack Jay White and be like, "I'm in this match now." Like, I don't know where this is going to leave Okada. That's the question, because we said Okada might not be around for a while because he's having a kid. So that makes questionable if he's even going to be in this. I'd rather have him in this, but at this point in time, with a week left and only one Dynamite to go a couple of days before Forbidden Door, how would they integrate him in? Because they have it all planned out with Jay White being the champ and then Hangman and Adam Cole, but they haven't done anything with Okada yet. So it makes me feel like it's going to be a triple threat. But I dug this segment. I really dug it. I loved how Jay White came out from behind. He hit him. He got him good. I just dug everything about it because they're building it up. They're getting everybody. Like I said before, I had people that don't know who Jay White was, who once they started seeing him last week, they've been all invested in him because they like him on the mic. They like him. And then I showed them all the stuff with New Japan, and they ate it up. And I'm just like, this guy's going to be bigger than life now because of everything that's being done with him. And now you get him on AEW against Adam Cole, against Hangman Page. Woo! I'm like, I can't wait. The only thing that would have been better was to have Okada, but if he's not in it, I understand why.
Yeah, I agree, especially what you said about Jay White. Everybody.
the fuck is that guy?
But of course, we all know who the fuck is that guy. It's Jay White, damn it. And kudos, very brief, shout out to him losing all the weight, everything that he's done for his career. He looks in fantastic shape, and man, he's done such a great job. Now, before I get to you, Dinero, this is one for you here from Brian Cook. Britt is way better as a heel. Tony Storm deserves to be a champ. Ruby Soho needs to be pushed back up. If Rosa loses, hope years later she gets a much better second chance with the title. Agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially Ruby Soho. What the fuck? Like she's too good to be where she's at right now.
I thought she should have won the tournament.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. 100%. Yeah.
100%. But Dinero, take it away with this segment.
First, I want to say, I wanted to say this during the Will Ospreay match. Shout out to everybody who wrestled on Dominion and was here on this show just a couple days later in the United States.
Yes.
Because that's not easy, especially like Will Ospreay wrestling a high intensity match against Sonata and then having the type of match he did against Dax just a couple days later in a fucking another continent is insane. You know what I mean? So definitely like respect to everybody who made the travel and still like put on some good shows, and it was really cool to see a bunch of guys on one show in Japan and then just a few days later see him in the United States. Yeah. As for this, I think at this point, I think Okada's not going to be there. Like Dan said, with a week to go, I don't think that they integrate Okada to this. And even Adam Cole said it during the segment. He says Okada's not even going to be there. And if he is, I wouldn't do a four-way just because, like I said, we already have a four-way for the All-Atlantic champion, and that to have two four-ways on the show would be a little weird. Mm-hmm. I would like to, instead of it being a triple threat, I would like to see something, maybe have Hangman versus Adam Cole as the first match at Forbidden Door. Winner goes against Jay White later in the night for the IWGP champion. Yeah. That would be interesting.
That's reasonable. Yeah.
Or you could go out of left field. You have, what's it called? There's a lot of rumors that Kenny Omega may be on this show. He may.
That's what I heard too. That's what I heard.
So, what if you don't have Hangman or Adam Cole wrestle for the title? Jay White issues an open challenge, or it's like a mystery opponent, and then we have Omega come out, and then we have Omega versus Jay White. He did say it's going to be all about it's going to be about the Bullet Club. It's going to be all about Undisputed Elite. Who's the leader of the Elite? Who was the leader of the Bullet Club? Who's the current leader of Bullet Club? Like, it would make sense.
Like, God, Kenny Omega.
Yeah, like if you have that, like everyone's thinking, oh, Adam Cole, Jay White, but it comes out of left field, but it still makes sense to what the original premise was, because Kenny Omega would be all about Bullet Club, all about the Elite. So that would be very interesting to have that matchup. I thought I was going to get answers this week on what that match was going to be, but I'm left with more questions. So I definitely think that it's interesting and makes me interested for next week to see what happens.
How would you book that match, though, if Kenny were to come back? Would you book him to lose right away?
I would book him to lose, but probably with the interference of like Adam Cole to start building that storyline. Adam Cole comes out, Kenny gets distracted. Like, you don't even have to have Adam Cole turn or Adam Cole attack Kenny. Adam Cole could just come out, Kenny gets distracted, turns around, Switchblade hits the Blade Runner, something like that. And then now you could just go on with the whole storyline of the Elite splitting from the Undisputed Elite, doing Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish versus the Young Bucks and Kenny. Like, that's how I would personally do it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. I can see that. That makes sense. Because then from there, you can start the Civil War. And, and whose side are you on? You're going to have Adam Cole, Red Dragon, might bring someone else involved. Maybe with a Bullet Club.
I guarantee that they bring in God just because it'll be like it'll be one of those, okay, you're the enemy of my enemy is my friend type situation where they might not get along with them, but then you hate this guy even more right now, so you align with them right now just to take them down.
Like, I don't like you, but we don't like him.
Imagine the Good Brothers and whatnot on one side, but then you got the Young Bucks and God on this side.
That'd be awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's. I've been saying it forever. When this announcement of Forbidden Door, I've been like, we need to have the Civil War. It has to be Adam Cole aligning himself with the Bullet Club from Japan versus the Elite, which would be now that the Gorillas of Destiny are out, they could go ahead and be with the Elite and then have them feud, and then that's it. Yeah. Have Omega, have Adam Red Dragon along with New Japan's Bullet Club versus the U.S. Elite here. I think that would have been a great civil war. And then the middleman would have been Hangman, because then from there, where would you go? Yeah. Where would you go? See, where would you pick? Which way would you go?
Because he technically was in both, but then he kind of he was there. He came to Elite, but then he's done his own thing since being over here because they wanted to build him as his own talent instead of being just the third wheel.
Exactly. So this is like it'll come down to pretty much Hangman being the key of who will be winning that war, and that would have been a great storytelling if they would have developed that, from the beginning of this month. And I think that they would have been great. But we'll see. You never know. Never say never. It could happen at Wrestle Kingdom. May happen at Wrestle Kingdom.
I still think that what's going to happen is they're going to have the match, say it's a triple threat. And then Kenny comes out afterwards and attacks Jay White or confronts Jay White, and that's Kenny Omega's return. Because, like I said, all the shit talking from Jay White, mentioning Omega and everything else, it'd be the perfect slide in to have him appear at the very end of Forbidden Door and confront Jay White, and then have something happen from there on out. Because you already have that thing between Adam Cole and Jay White right now. And
it'll
then
be
the whole thing,
it'll be very similar to last year's Slammiversary, where it was Sami Callihan and Kenny Omega, and at the very end of that, Jay White comes out to confront Kenny. So you can have it the reverse here. Jay White wins, and then at the very end, Kenny ends the show by coming out to confront Jay. So that would be really cool.
Yeah, I think absolutely agreed 100%. I think that could happen the same way. The tables have turned. It could be Kenny just walking out like, hey, and then Jay White like, what? What's going on? Come on, too sweet me, damn it. Come on, right? And he doesn't do it. Like, it could happen. Oh, but I'm very excited. I want to see. You're right too. Like, Dana, like they better make something happen next week. They need to start announcing what the hell's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Speaking of what the hell just going to happen, this happened with the main event, of course, for the AEW Tag Team Championships. Of course, in the ladder match, Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks. The Buckaroos, of course, winning and regaining, being a two-time AEW World Tag Team Champions because of this man, Christian Cage, finally turned heel. It's about fucking time that they turn him heel.
I love it.
That's right. I do love it too, because it was about damn time they turned him heel, because we were just every week. What? What? And again. What? 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 Exactly. That's how the fuck we were the whole entire time. Turn them heel already, and it finally happened. But very quickly, I wanted to regress for the match. I enjoyed it. It was a great main event, great opening. It reminds me of PWG, to be honest with you. I know it does really. I mean, because I see Luchasaurus in bar wrestling. I see them in PWG. Also the same with Jungle Boy. I see them around. The Young Bucks, I see them too. This was your Southern California main event, and it was your Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. And I know Excalibur I guarantee you he was just sitting there while he was commentating for the main event. Man, this is a PWG for sure main event level, and it was. And it delivered, though. And I'm glad it delivered, especially I'm really happy for Jurassic Express. I'm more happy for Luchasaurus because he came, we know his past. He tried out NXT, failed, did not work out. He created this gimmick and with a dinosaur gimmick, and it worked. It went all the way, and him doing the independent promotions, signed with Underground. Lucha Underground. That's right, Lucha Underground. I forgot about that. You're right.
The funny thing was he was a sneak, the gimmick in Lucha, and then in NXT or whatnot.
He morphed into a dinosaur.
I forget why, but he morphed it into a dinosaur, and it just became a thing of its own. Yeah, and then of course he met Jungle Boy through Jungle Boy's father, of course. That's how they met, and they just formed from there. They said they got the connection right away, and it was great. And then a lot of people forget Luchasaurus was also on Big Brother, also in between NXT and then Lucha Underground. He did Big Brother, so he's had that. So he's been all around. It's good to see him have that moment. And then I love the spot at the end. I love the spot where he went through all 4 tables.
Yeah,
The Ray Dudley bump. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
he sold it great. It was great. And then they went and grabbed the titles after hitting the VT trigger on Jungle Boy. And that was the big thing. They won for the turn. They wanted it to be them beating a Jungle Boy and having him be the reason that they won, to create the whole thing with Christian. And of course, we know the Hardy Boys were supposed to win the match, but then you go and you're like, okay, now we're going to put it on the Young Bucks. What a better tag team to put it on them, and like on the gut fly, than the Young Bucks, one of the best tag teams there. And I liked how they had the pants with the California logo on it with the bear. I thought that was a great touch on it. And then now I'm thinking, what are they going to do with the Young Bucks with Forbidden Door right around the corner? Are they going to be booked at all? Anything going to happen? Because it's like, how are you going to have Forbidden Door without the Young Bucks, where they've been on both AEW and New Japan?
Something tells me you're going to have the Good Brothers. You're going to have, I think they're going to challenge for those belts. That's what's going to happen.
I would eat that up. That'd be a lot of work for the Good Brothers, considering they're going to be on Slammiversary Saturday against the Briscoes, them boys, and watching that whole promo in Delaware last week. Like, I ate that up. That was so hilarious. That 7-minute skit of them just rolling around the Briscoe Forum. And I think that's going to be a good match. So if they do that, I'd be all about that, because then that's moving around all these. Maybe at some point, I know not here, but doing all these tag teams and all these from promotion to promotion, when am I going to see once again the Briscoes and the Young Bucks? When am I going to see that? Because we see all these tag teams facing each other now, and I'm like, that'd be great. And then now you have the opportunity with the Briscoes being in Impact now, and then with Ring of Honor coming back, it's like now you get those options now. I know it's happened before, but it's like now you get the Briscoes at their highest.
They've grown so much since then.
Right now. Yeah, they've won the Crockett Cup, and then they won the tag titles in Impact in a 2-3 month span, and then they wrestled for the NWA titles. In between that, they lost the match, but they still wrestle for it. But they've been all around. They just haven't been on AEW. So maybe we get that soon. But it's like, I want to see what they do now with the Young Bucks now. Now that they had the whole thing with the Hardys falling through, what was your game plan for them moving with the belts? And now that it's the Young Bucks, what are you going to do with them? Does that change course with everything? Is it okay? It's the Young Bucks instead of the Hardys. We're just going to do the same thing that we had moving forward, or do you have to change things up now? I'd be interested to see what happens.
Indeed, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, De Niro, go ahead.
First of all, someone needs to tell JR that Luchasaurus is a fucking dinosaur, not a lizard.
I know he said
every week. Oh, that's a big lizard. Like, he says that every week. He's not a lizard. He's a dinosaur. Like, goddamn. Anyway. Great matchup. They fit so many crazy ass spots in the time that they had. This was definitely, it did remind me of like the crazy ladder matches we would get in PWG, like against I remember, what was it, Tremendous 3. We had that crazy ladder match between the Young Bucks, the Super Smash Bros.
Yes,
Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. Just insane. Insane. We saw a lot of like those type of spots in this matchup, and a lot of innovative spots, like the whole interaction between Nick Jackson and Jungle Boy on the ladder doing the springboards. Just craziness. Luchasaurus took a lot of damage though in this matchup, and I wonder where Luchasaurus is going to go now after the Christian Cage turn. Is this something where we see Christian Cage feud with Jungle Boy, or is he feuding with the Jurassic Express?
He's gonna bring Tonko, man. He's gonna bring Tyson Tonko. Come on, man. I need you back. Just in the good old days in TNA.
That'd be awesome. Yo, Tonko had a very underrated run in Japan.
Yeah, he did. I agree.
The Giant Bernard was amazing.
Oh man, Bernard.
That was a great team. But definitely, I love the heel turn. Finally, Christian Cage turns heel. He played it off for a while. I love how he was waiting and waiting and waiting. They were helping Jungle Boy out the ring.
What the fuck? I have to play.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
She's on Tinder? What the hell?
Which way are you swiping if you see Linda?
Oh, hey.
At a left swipe or a right swipe?
I had no idea, but
I don't know. She got money.
She got money, though, right?
No, but definitely with Christian Cage turning, I think that it was perfectly done, especially like it didn't look like it was going to happen this week. And I was getting pissed because I was like, come on, how? Because they waited till like the last second of the show for him to turn. They didn't just do it where like as soon as the Young Bucks won, they let the Young Bucks have their moment, put the belts up. We're champions, cool. Jungle Boy's getting helped out the ring because he's injured, and then you had Christian do the turn. And then I don't know if you guys saw the footage of Christian Cage like going back and forth with Jungle Boy's sister and mother.
Oh, yes.
And he was like, "You raised the fucking failure, or you raised like that was brutal."
That was brutal.
I didn't see that, but I saw Tony Khan come out to check on Jungle Boy. They had like just a picture of him checking on him. They said that he didn't move. They said that he was bloodied up in the lip, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, let me look at this. Like, is this a shoot or like is this just playing off?" And no one knew. And I'm just like, damn. If they were just acting like this, they did a great job because they had a lot of people asking questions afterwards.
Yeah, I hope they're acting because that I'm not gonna lie, that concerto looked like it connected. It looked like it definitely connected.
Oh yeah, it did. It did.
So if it connected, then I'm sure Jungle Boy was fucked up after that. But yeah, like the back and forth with Christian and Jungle Boy's sister and mother afterwards, like I love this because we haven't seen Christian Cage have much of a role on this show for almost over a year. So now to make him a top heel is great, especially like with AEW losing a lot of their guys, like with injury. You have Bryan Danielson hasn't been seen on the show. CM Punk is injured for the foreseeable future. Like Christian Cage is a known talent. Christian Cage is a top name. He's a future Hall of Famer. So it's like, why not use him you have him on the roster, use him, put him in that role that he deserves. And now I personally always thought he was a better heel anyway. Like his heel work in TNA was phenomenal. I always thought that Christian Cage as a heel was way better than Christian Cage as a babyface. So I hope this leads to big things for him.
Yeah. And speaking of you talking about these matches, when am I going to see a build up for Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr.? Because I didn't say it earlier, but like with the El Desperado coming out, I'm like, we're really going to have Zack Sabre Jr. coming out because he's in Suzuki Gun too. Yeah. And then Bryan Danielson, of course, is aligned with because he's in the Black Bull Combat Club. We're really going to integrate that into this. Is it going to be next week where they're like, oh, let's throw in Zack Sabre Jr. then do this? Because, of course, we talked about they would go back and forth about the most technical wrestler. Or are they going to just do what I think they're going to do and preserve this for like a Wrestle Kingdom down the line? I hope they do it at Forbidden Door, but there's always a possibility that they hold it down the line.
I think it all depends on how injured Bryan Danielson is. If he's able to come back for Forbidden Door, I think that they pull the trigger on it. If not, then it's better if they don't rush it and hold off and build to it more. I think that also on top of that, having Sammy Guevara join the Jericho Appreciation Society adds a sixth man to that. Now, because we were saying like what's going to happen with Wheeler in Forbidden Door. Now you have 6-on-6 instead of 5-on-5. So I think that's why they had to add somebody else, and that tells me that Bryan Danielson probably is going to be.
Right about that.
I was just thinking that myself. I was like, man, maybe that's why they did the thing with Sammy was because of Wheeler Yuta kind of being the odd man out. But then with the injury to Bryan Danielson, we got to wait and see where he is. Because if he's not healthy, then they could just slide Wheeler Yuta right into that spot.
Yeah.
But if he is healthy and he can wrestle, then you add the extra guy in.
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, I get it. I get what Underground Temple stating. With shout out to you for joining in. By the way, I get it. They don't need a promo work, but at least in appearance, we'll be like, oh shit, he just actually showed up.
Yeah.
And,
let us know that the match is happening.
Yeah, just to establish things, like because a lot of people over AEW fans don't know the promos that Zack Sabre Jr. has been cutting about being the Japanese dragon. Now he wants the American dragon, and then lately the whole let's see who the best technical wrestler is, and then they only know what they've seen maybe of just interviews with Bryan Danielson, where he said that one of the guys that he would like to wrestle the most has been Zack Sabre Jr. They don't know both sides, so you want to at least have that first interaction so you can actually introduce it to the people that don't know both sides.
And then from there, you can have the story be told in the ring. So, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, now for the final segment of the evening, we have to move into the predictions. Well, we're not trying to do much predictions as possible, but I want to know which matches are you looking forward to, which this Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. That is right. Slammiversary is this Saturday on Fight TV. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We're going to have 10 and 11 because if we have the pre-buy-in, which is Brian Myers versus Rich Swann for the digital media, that's going to be opening the show.
Yeah.
You have the Reverse Battle Royal. Of course, Honor No More versus Impact Originals. You have the Ultimate X Division, Ultimate X for the X Division title. You have the Knockouts Tag Team titles. Of course, you have the Queen of the Mountain with, of course, Mickey James being the special enforcement. Monstrous Ball between Moose and Sammy. The Impact World Tag Team titles, the Briscoes versus the Good Brothers. And, of course, the Impact World Championship, Eric Young versus Josh Alexander. So, which match are you looking forward to, Big Dan? Tell me, which one are you looking forward to?
It's between two. I'm definitely looking forward to how they've been building the Sami Callihan and Moose match. They've done it very great since Moose injuring Sami Callihan and then him being out for 6-7 months to then them coming back and always turn the lights out and then attacking him, and then that bat to the cranium.
Oh my god!
And then him going, every time you think you've got me solved, I go and change things up. And he's like, I'm always a step ahead of you. It makes you feel like maybe Moose actually will win this, or because of how they're playing it. He's inside Moose's head, making all these attacks on him, and it's great to see a very, I'm not going to say weak, I'll say a wounded Moose, because he's always been a strong, big guy that would manhandle his opponents, but now you've seen him in the opposite side of things. You've seen him be wounded, you've seen him be the prey, and Sami Callihan being the predator attacking his opponent because he has nothing to lose, because it's personal for him. So I'm looking forward to that, probably the most. And then it would be them boys versus the Good Brothers.
You them boys, we them boys. That's
because, like I said before, I just want to see them just build up the Briscoes more and more and more. I love seeing their personality come out. So because even though the brothers, they both have different personalities. Per se, one's the rough and tough one, and one's tough, but then he's goofy at the same time. It's kind of cool seeing them out and seeing them on this bigger stage than just on Ring of Honor and the Indies. And to wrestle the Good Brothers, that's a big test there. And we all know that their time in Impact's coming up next month. So it's a good way for them to put over the tag champs before they probably head back over to New Japan full time.
I am with you 100% with that, Ben. I'm not going to disagree at all. And reason why, because the thing, Briscoes deserves to have the recognition. For a long time, we see them, in Ring of Honor, they were the pinnacle of the early stages of Ring of Honor. First, it was one of the Briscoes, and then you had the other one coming along later on as they were getting, they started at a young age, and they were the staple of Ring of Honor. And people don't give them that credibility where credit's due because of their appearances. Who gives a shit? These guys could whoop your ass if there's no tomorrow, and they put on 5 beers, not stars, beers. They can put a 6-pack, 7-pack, 8-pack. That's all they can do. But yes, I am with you. I'm looking forward to this, and I'm hoping that, man, the Briscoes retain, and I think they will. Hey, man, they're going to elevate that tag team division for Impact, in my opinion. So, but I agree 100%. But yeah, well, let's see. Before I get to you, De Niro, we had a comment here Underground asking, who's on Team Honor No More and Team Impact?
Like, who do we want, or who's the actual participants?
Yeah, no, who do you want? Who are you? Side are you on?
See, this is very interesting to me, especially that the Team Impact is the Impact Originals, right? Because I remember when the classic Ring of Honor and TNA did have like some problems with each other, and there was like an actual rivalry between both companies. So this is awesome. Like, it's, you know, maybe like 15 years too late, but still, like, it's really awesome that you finally have Ring of Honor versus Impact Wrestling going on. I think that this is one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most, just to see who's that surprise and the nostalgia, right? I love TNA. Like, there was a time period where when I was younger, I stopped watching wrestling for a while until I found TNA. And TNA was my favorite company for a long time. So to see a lot of these original TNA wrestlers come back, it's awesome to see. I know tonight it was announced that Nick Aldis is a part of that Impact Originals. Personally, Nick Aldis came in 2009. So, like, is he really an original?
I have an idea.
Yeah,
I think I have a good idea of who that last member is.
I can tell you.
I do too.
I can tell you.
I have my idea too. I wonder if it's the same.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna put the picture, and if I put the picture, I want to see everybody say yes or no. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yes, I need to put a picture. Well, give me a fucking picture, damn it. Just give me a fucking picture. Oh, here we go. I'm looking for it. Okay, let me save it. Okay, now uploading it. Oh yes, I think this guy's gonna be the final member for Impact. Yes. I'm saying it right now, Samoa Joe. I'm saying Samoa Joe. I don't know if you guys have.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking that, but
I wasn't thinking that either. I thought, isn't he injured at the time? I mean, right now is he?
No, he's filming. He's doing the.
He's doing the Twisted Metal, right?
Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Samoa Joe.
Underground Temple got my pick right there. Christopher Daniels.
That's gonna be mine. Yeah,
it's gonna be.
I thought it was gonna be Christopher Daniels as well.
Because he's an original. He's been appearing on other, like, he's been doing that farewell tour without me even saying it. Like, this weekend he's doing AAA. He's doing the tournament in AAA.
And
he's
Sunday.
been on New Japan. Yeah, he's been on New Japan Strong. He wrestled. He did that Ring of Honor match. It was him and Bryan Danielson, I believe it was, right? When they first bought Ring of Honor, it was him and him. He's from Impact. Kazarian is on the team. What better way than the fallen angel Christopher Daniels, who made a big name of himself in Impact when it was TNA? Because you remember those big matches with him and AJ Styles
and Samoa Joe. Triple threat match.
Samoa Joe,
that's the greatest TNA Impact match of all time.
Hell yes.
At Unbreakable, the first one they did. Yes. I think that if it's not him, because that's my pick too. I would love to see it be the Cowboy James Storm. He's been there from, well, not anymore, but like he was there since day one in TNA. We've seen him make appearances, I believe like 2 years ago. So like that would be really cool if it's the Cowboy. I would love to see it be somebody like that. It's like real like left field. Like I know we just saw Chris Harris on the show. I would love to see if it was Chris Harris. I know a lot of people like to play him for his time in WWE, but Chris Harris in TNA, when they were in America's Most Wanted, had so much potential to be one of the top guys. I would love to see it be Monty Brown. I know for years people always talked about the alpha male Monty Brown being such a missed opportunity in TNA, and we see him around once in a while. He makes appearances backstage. I believe he currently lives in Nashville also.
Yeah.
I mean,
he said low key.
Low key is an asshole. So I mean,
and it sucks. And it sucks it can't be Abyss because right now I think he's a producer for WWE right now.
But you never know. I mean, we did see Mickey James at the Royal Rumble. So if WWE kind of owes him one, WWE owes him one. Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely am looking forward to that match, but I'm also looking forward to the Queen of the Mountain matchup. The King of the Mountain concept is a match that I always loved with the whole penalty box, and you have to be eligible to hang the title. I think that is one of the most innovative matches ever, besides Ultimate X, which we're also going to see, which is great. But I think that
I'll get into that in a second. But
yeah, for the first time seeing the women do a King of the Mountain and the Queen of the Mountain matchup, it's really awesome to see. And I'm just surprised it took this long, because we've seen so much talent on this roster, and we've seen the King of the Mountain matchup for years in TNA and in Impact Wrestling. So for them to finally do it, it's interesting that it took this long, but I'm happy that they're going to do it. And there's so much talent in that matchup. Tasha Steelz has really came into her own. It's you got Mia Yim back in the company doing great things. Deonna Purrazzo is, in my opinion, one of the best women's wrestlers right now going. So definitely super stacked matchup.
And I think this is a staple of Slammiversary is this matchup. They
It's the main event every year. Yeah.
Yeah, they always would have it every year at Slammiversary. When you have Slammiversary, you think of this match, and this match means something there. And then it's to throw a bone to the women here, like give them the recognition here by having the match for the women's title.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a case that any of these women could win it in this match. I feel like maybe because she has somebody on her side that maybe it's a way to showcase Tasha Steelz even more, because you had people go, why is she the champion? And this is the perfect way to do it. Have her in this match. Kind of like way back in the day when they had the Hell in a Cell with Kurt Angle and he was the champion and he surrounded him by all these Hall of Fame talent.
It's like, why still had him win, and then he won.
Yeah, and he still had him win by a roll-up of all things in a great match like that. And it helped catapult him even more with recognition-wise. I think what wound up happening is it'll be an awesome match. She'll wind up winning because she has her helpful hand right next to her that can get involved in the match. That's probably why Mickie James is the special enforcer to try and keep her out, but it won't happen. But it's still going to be a great match. And then you mentioned the X Division match. What better way than, like we said, with the working relationship with Impact and with New Japan. We've talked about this with Ace Austin, the champion, and now this whole feud with Alex Zane. You got all these guys that can win the match. What better way to end the X Division match than to have Alex Zane take the belt from Ace Austin? I feel like that's what's best for business here with Impact, is to put the title on him, because it means the most for that storyline.
Alex Zane is definitely championship material.
Yeah.
Yes, because he finally has that
Ruthless aggression.
He has that ruthless aggression. That's what it is. Yeah. But man, look, the women are gonna steal the show. I hope they do. I'm happy. And people always forget. I know you guys will agree with me on this. I'm about to say, the women's division in Impact has been the most dominant women's division of all time. Thank you, because there's none. You know, Gail Kim has done a fantastic job ever since she took over as creative, watching over the women's division and who she's going to bring in. And I'm happy that she's developing this roster of women that I'm glad, like Tasha Steelz. I'm happy she's getting her her moment of shine. Kiera Hogan was another one, but she decided to part ways. She wanted to head to a different direction. Good for her. I'm not hating on her, but that was her decision. She felt maybe they were used it properly. Look at Rosemary as well. Rosemary has been there for the longest as well, and she got in her, Sue Young as well. I mean, Deonna Purrazzo, Chelsea Green, Mia in the beginning as well when she barely started in her career and she went back. I was really happy to see that, and Taya seemed back too. I'm happy to see that.
Don't forget the champs. Don't forget.
That's right, Madison Rayne
and Tenille Dashwood.
Yes, Tenille. Yes,
Madison Rayne is an original. So
yes, she's an original. That's right. Beautiful people. That's right. And so, man, the women's division in Impact has always been underrated for the people that never really paid attention to the product. You want to talk about what was the influence? NXT women's division was because of the Impact women's division. And I know people are gonna hate me for that, but hate me
The
all
truth.
you want, but it's the damn truth, damn it. It's the damn truth. So it's not bullshit. So it's no bullshit. But I can tell you. What were you saying? What are you gonna say?
Now, I said when I think of Impact, I think of the X division and the women's division. Those are the two staples of it, and then they just add within that. The X division was a creation that they came up with that was just a genius of how they developed it and how they developed so many stars. It's like their IC title. That's what it is. It's like they developed like AJ Styles, like you got a Samoa Joe. You got just a couple of names that I can list just right there, and that's why they have it every single year, and everybody clamors to watch it. They're like X Division, X Division. It's not always heavyweight matchup. It's like I want to watch the X Division match because it's the craziest one on the card, where you get a lot of people viewed into it, and then you got the women's because the true women's revolution was Impact because they have so many women on the roster, even from years ago, that just compete night in and night out. And then they got a good volume on there. And then to add a women's tag team championships to it, they've had it for a couple of years, and they defend it monthly. It's not like I'll defend it here, then 6 months later do it. They're constantly defending it. They're constantly making it a point to have the matches. They're on Slammiversary, which is great. And I just like, if they could just figure out like the main event scene half the time, Impact would be great.
They can put on Cruise Control, yeah. I love how the X Division really stands the test of time, because when Jeff Jarrett created the X Division back in 2002, even his own father didn't want to do it. Like Jerry Jarrett was like, "Oh, it doesn't make sense. Like no one's going to want to just see these smaller guys." Yeah.
I don't want to do that, son.
He just appeared on NWA. So like it could happen. It just depends on if he wants to come back, because before he went to NXT, he was in Impact, and he was doing that gimmick. And I don't know why he left. I don't know if he thought NXT was going to be better, if they just didn't bring him back, re-sign him. I don't know. It could happen, but I like what he's doing now with NWA. Like there's a lot of storyline with him being there.
Yeah, and being a BFF with Nick Aldis and Thomas Latimer, so it makes sense. It's going to be like a frenemies storyline in the NWA.
And like I said in real life, Thomas Latimer got married, and two of his three best men was Samuel Starr and Nick Aldis.
Yeah. I mean, I think we might see a New Japan. I have a feeling we might see Hiromu showing up. I have a feeling he's going to show up and challenge Jace Austin for that X Division title. Ace retains, Hiromu shows up and looks at him at the belt. Either him, or I'll be in shock if Naito even go, like, what are you doing? You going to challenge him for the X Division title? You treat the belts like shit. I mean, but come on. We know Naito drags the belts purposely because he doesn't like it. He doesn't, especially with the Intercontinental. He dragged the belt all the time. Imagine, I will be
dirty fast.
Yeah, right.
That belt went from white to off white quick.
Oh yeah. So we might see either Hiromu or Naito probably showing up on Slammiversary. I have a feeling a New Japan star will be there for sure.
Yeah, and with him not being in the G1, having that time, when we talked about it before, he just got booked for New Japan Strong next month in North Carolina, his first booking in the U.S. It would make sense if they did that, because he would have the extra time, since it's going to be starting July 16th. He wouldn't have to come back to Japan until mid to late August.
Right. There you go. Yeah. I agree. Absolutely. So I'm looking forward for Slammiversary. I cannot wait. Make sure everybody tune in Saturday for that event. And it's going to be on Fight TV, and I'm looking forward to Josh Alexander, Eric Young for the Impact World Champion. I think that championship will be seeing what happened tonight's episode on Impact. Wow, like I'm happy for Josh Alexander. He's finally getting his moment to shine, well deserved. And Eric back in the title picture contention. with his crew, Vitamin by Design. I like it. It's going to be a fantastic show, man. I think these two guys are going to steal the show, hopefully, too. But I feel that the women's and the X division, I think one of those out of the card, I think they might steal, especially with the addition of Speedball Mike Bailey. I'm a Speedball Mike Bailey fan. I love his work. And oh, man, it's going to be awesome. I cannot wait until we come back here and actually talk about it. I actually cannot wait. I cannot wait. Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We appreciate you all very much for tuning in. And don't forget, of course, to subscribe and follow our brothers' platforms here on their social media platforms and on their YouTube channel. They provide you the best content out there, not just professional wrestling, but also MMA. Especially my boy Dan from Cage My IQ. Make sure you subscribe to Cage My IQ. Tell them where to find you, Dan. Tell them. Tell the world. Give them what they want.
Yeah, I'm on all platforms, but mainly I'm on Twitter. You can find me at CageIQ. You can find all my stuff on there as well. I post all my content there. And then, of course, I'm on YouTube, www.youtube.com/c/CageMyIQ. If you want to just do it easier, just go to search and search Cage My IQ. All my content's on there. I literally just finished my breakdown with my buddy for next week's fight night, which is headlined by Orman Sarukian versus Matu Scamrot. I always put my predictions out a week in advance, trying to take advantage of everybody who wants to look at it. I added a little bit of betting odds at the end to give you guys a little bit of thought process of what I was thinking, and just check it out. Let me know what you like. Subscribe to the channel, and then give me a like if you're into MMA.
That is right. And in the descriptions right below on this channel, you could click and subscribe immediately. You better fucking do it, Dan. Do it. And of course, let the people know, Mr. De Niro, where can this find the phenomenal that takes us back in time of this glorious Wrestling Delorean podcast?
Thank you. So, yeah, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Wrestling Delorean Podcast on all podcast platforms. Right now, we're mostly an audio podcast. We do post a podcast sometimes here on YouTube. I do get a lot of copyright strikes because I do play a lot of music on my show. I do like a lot of shit, but whatever. So when I do get the audio, sometimes I just put the audio up on YouTube, but mostly it's on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can catch me on Instagram at Wrestling Delorean Pod, Twitter at W_Delorean Pod. And I'm going to be, I know I took a little break from the Twitch, but I'm going to be bringing back the Twitch this week. Well, next week. So make sure you follow The Wrestling Delorean on Twitch for live watch-alongs for all shows that we cover on the Wrestling Delorean podcast. So yeah, most definitely thank you for all the support. Last month and this month has been the best 2 months of the Wrestling Delorean podcast. And we've been doing the show for like 3 years. And I want to thank, Ivan for constantly putting me here on Circle of Debate. I definitely feel like it's helped grow the Wrestling Delorean. It's helped grow our friendship. I always love working with people. I always, love having Dan on the show. So definitely check out Wrestling Delorean Podcast. Follow Wrestling Delorean Podcast. Follow Cage My IQ. And, of course, hit that subscribe button for the Circle of Debate.
Oh,
I definitely dug that video that you sent me the other day, the one that you came up with. I showed it to a couple people, and they loved it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's right. You know what that time is, ladies.
Autobots, transform and roll out.
That's right. It's Autobots rolling out, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll be back next week, maybe on Tuesday. I'll get with the guys off the air. For all the people who wants to learn, especially since Matt's not here, I gotta do it because for all you that would like to know about New Japan and get the knowledge from New Japan, these two brothers were here. We can do it. We can provide it for you. If you demand it, we will deliver. And we'll probably do that on Tuesday, as we'll probably go ahead and discuss the participants of the G1 and explaining to everyone what is the G1 climax. We're not going to break down the whole history. Hell no. We're just going to tell you what it means. Where did it
Well, at G1 Climax 1, you had no.
Oh, that's like a fucking 8-hour show we can do.
Antonio
30
Inoki.
years ago, 30 years ago, Hulk Hogan.
It was a clash between Giant Baba and Antonio Inoki that went 45 minutes.
Oh my God, yes, but we will talk about that and give our thoughts of the participants and who's in it and what we should do. I'm kind of down if they haven't announced them yet, which I'm looking. They haven't announced at all what blocks and who's going to be in what block.
I think that they're supposed to. They might be this weekend since they're doing the whole title matches, and then right after they do those, it's going to be on like a hiatus until after Forbidden Door. But from what I heard, that they're trying to announce them while they're doing shows.
Okay,
so I can only imagine they might do it this weekend.
Oh man, I hope so because I will be there on Sunday for New Japan Road on this Sunday Ignition at Vermont Hollywood. I will be there seeing Tanahashi and Negro Casas too. Is going to be there. I'm looking forward to the card and the tournament for the New Japan World Strong Tag Team titles too. Christopher Daniels is participating as well. He's part of that along with, and then him and Carl Fredericks. Carl Fredericks versus Nick Comrado, Aaron Solo. You got Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols versus Jerome Nelson and Roy Isaacs. Rocky Romero Beretta versus Eddie Pearl and Ricky Gibson. Midnight Heat. That's right, baby. I shout out to you, Midnight Heat. Man, hell yeah!
I'm looking forward to seeing I'm looking forward to seeing the Mighty back as a tag team.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, I'm looking forward to see how that goes. And the card, yes, you have Kevin Knight, the DKC versus Mysterioso and Barrett Brown, Freddie Yehi versus Tyler Bateman, Jordan Cruz versus Jared Kratos, Taylor Russ versus Jonah, of course, Mascara Dorado, Raiden Narita, and David Finley versus Negro Casas, Lucas Riley, and Adrian Quest. And the main event is Tanahashi and Yuya Amura versus Jay White and Hiko Leo. So I will be there this Sunday watching that card. I'll do a vlog so you guys can see. I'll do a vlog for sure. But Tuesday, if they haven't announced, if they announce it this weekend, I think we should give the people what they want, man. Let's break down, the whole G1 Climax, the blocks, give our thoughts about it. Let the people know, man. Let's do it, man. All right.
I'm with it.
I'm with it, too. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure follow our brothers here. And we thank you all very much for tuning in here for episode 106. Y muchas gracias a todos el apoyo. Al Circo de Debates, a todos que los están escuchando de la área plataforma en Colombia, Nicaragua, El Salvador, México, toda Latinoamérica y también en las Filipinas también. Gracias por todo el apoyo y no se olviden de suscribir a The Wrestling Delorean Podcast y Cage My HQ. Ahí está la descripción abajo para que se suscriban y sigan sus canales de ellos porque les dan todo el contenido que es fantástico. So, no se recuerda de que suscribir a esos canales de ellos. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the host Stevens when I've been seeing with my other hosts, with my hermanos, Big Boy Dan from Cage My HQ and Mike De Niro from the Wrestling Delorean Podcast, telling all of you, besides subscribing to all of our channels, we not only just do fucking podcasting, damn it. Don Callis, tell them what we do.
Professional wrestling, bigger than...
No, not that one, Don Callis. No. No, you're supposed to be the other one, damn it.
That's fucking bullshit.
You're bullshit, Tony Khan. You're bullshit.
Will
Over and over.
make
Over and over.
history.
Over and over and over